Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. This is the biggest story probably in the world right now that Ozzy Osbourne has passed. So shout out and rest in peace. There's not much more to add on that. He was a musician, a legend, and everybody's talking about it. And so that's the biggest story. But there is other news, at least in our political world. Donald Trump has publicly accused Barack Obama of treason while sitting in the Oval Office and called for criminal charges. It's an insane thing to say. I suppose it's more insane that we're kind of desensitized to this kind of rhetoric, considering they already had Trump arrested several times on false charges. So this is just par for the course of where we're at in this country, but kind of worrying. Now, Barack Obama has responded, basically saying it's absurd. We'll get into all that. And then we've got a bunch of these. We got a couple really crazy stories. One, the House is shutting down for a month. And reportedly, it's because they don't want to release the Epstein files. So we'll get into that. And then we've got a really crazy story. Pam Bondi has already fired the replacement for Alina Habba. This is a convoluted story, but basically, Alina Habba is supposed to be the U.S. attorney in New Jersey. Judges just removed her. Pam Bondi said nope and fired a replacement right away because we are in some kind of unstable political environment in this country where nothing makes sense. And the overwhelming majority of Donald Trump's appointees have not yet even been confirmed or given hearings, which is insane. I think most people don't realize what they've been doing to Trump in his first term and now in his second term, and it's continuing. So, of course, Trump is angry about all this. We're going to get into all that. But before we do, my friends, we got a great sponsor. It is PDS. My friends, the system isn't broken. It's rigged. And if you're buried in debt, that's exactly how they want it. Big banks profit when you're desperate. Creditors win when you lose, but you don't have to play their game. PDS Debt helps you take back control. They've helped hundreds of thousands break free from credit cards, loans, and high-interest traps. It's your money. It's your future. Time to fight for both. Of course, their website is pdsdebt.com/Tim. They go beyond the numbers to understand your unique financial situation and craft a personalized plan designed for you. There's no minimum credit score required. They're here to help you save more, pay off your debt faster, and start putting money back where it belongs in your pocket. PDS Debt is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, boasts thousands of 5-star reviews on Google, holds 5-star ratings on Trustpilot. Why? Because PDS has helped hundreds of thousands of people get out of debt. You're 30 seconds away from being debt-free. Get your free assessment and find the best option for you right now at pds.com/Tim. That's pds.com/Tim. And I just want to add in as an aside, there was a really funny joke I heard a long time ago. It's not even a joke, actually. When you're poor, banks charge you money in fees. But when you're rich, they give you money for free. Now, how does that make sense? It's not to help you guys. That's how it works, right? Also, don't forget castbrew.com. Yo, we've got so much coffee, too much coffee, and it's the best coffee you will ever have. We got K-Pods. We got a variety of different blends. We got light roast, dark roast, medium roast, you name it. We got low acidity Ian's Graphene Dream, which sells like hotcakes. And, of course, Appalachian Nights, everybody's favorite. The latest blends we put out is Josie's 1776 Signature American Cream, as well as the Birthday Blend for the 4th of July. Castbrew.com. Make sure you pick up your coffee if you want to support the show. And with that being said, smash the like button. If you do like Timcast IRL, let me just say, please subscribe to the channel and share this show literally with everyone you know. We only got to where we are because you guys share and like the show enough to watch it with your friends. And that word of mouth has allowed this show to get to where it is. And we rely on that. So for all of you guys who really do appreciate the work that we're doing, I ask you, share the show right now on social media. Take that URL, post it wherever you can. It really does help. Joining us tonight to talk about this and so much more, we got Breanna Morello.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's an honor to be back. A lot going on in the news cycle, as you know. And as an independent journalist, it's been very, very interesting to follow.
Indeed. Well, it's going to be fun. Thanks for hanging out. We got a lot to talk about. Libby's here.
Hi, everybody. I'm Libby Emmons with the Post Millennial and Human Events. Glad to be here tonight.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains, and I want to take a second to send a very, very heartfelt rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. Without Ozzy Osbourne and without Ozfest and the influence that he's had on not just All That Remains, but on the whole metal world, without him, I wouldn't have, this amazing career that I've had. So rest in peace, Ozzy. I'm an anti-communist, I'm a counter-revolutionary, and let's get into it.
And a fan of Ozzy Osbourne.
Absolutely.
Here's a story from ABC News. Trump accuses Obama of treason in the Oval Office. Quote, they tried to rig the election. Trump claimed without presenting evidence. You know, I just love that line because Tulsi Gabbard dropped 100+ documents outlining their evidence. And Trump is just opining on that fact. So why is ABC News lying to you? That's interesting, isn't it? They say days after President Donald Trump posted an AI-generated fake video showing former President Obama's arrest on his social media platform, the current president pushed conspiracy theories about Obama in the Oval Office on Tuesday, accusing him of treason without providing evidence regarding the 2016 presidential election. They tried to rig the election and they got caught, and there should have been severe consequences for that. Well, we got the clip. Let's play the tape.
I didn't know that. No, I have no concern. He's a very talented person. He's very smart. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt. The witch hunt that you should be talking about is they caught President Obama absolutely cold, Tulsi Gabbard. What they did to this country in 2016, starting in 2016, but going up all the way going up to 2020 in the election. They tried to rig the election, and they got caught. And there should be very severe consequences for that. You know, when we caught Hillary Clinton, I said, you know what? Let's not go too far here. It's the ex-wife of a president, and I thought it was sort of terrible. And I let her off the hook, and I'm very happy I did. But it's time to start after what they did to me, and whether it's right or wrong, it's time to go after people. Obama's been caught directly. So people say, oh, you know, a group. It's not a group. It's Obama. His orders are on the paper. The papers are signed. The papers came right out of their office. They sent everything to be highly classified. Well, the highly classified's been released. And what they did in 2016 and in 2020 is very criminal. It's criminal at the highest level. So that's really the things you should be talking about. I know nothing about the other, but I think it's appropriate that they do go.
May I ask you about that, Mr. President?
So I don't know what the earlier context in that statement was, but he then brings up Obama and accused him of treason. He continued. Now, Obama has responded, denying Trump's bizarre allegations that he was Russiagate ringleader in a rare statement. As soon as Obama decided to speak out, I was like, he's guilty. Like, there's no reason to comment on someone just insulting you, on the internet or in the press. They say former President Obama denied Trump's bizarre allegations that he was a Russiagate ringleader.
It's incredible that they say things like bizarre, like the DNI has actual evidence. Maybe it's not enough to convince people or whatever, but sorry for the outburst, but like legitimately, it's ridiculous that the way that the media is portraying this, oh, there's no evidence and blah, 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 just totally disregarding all of the stuff that the DNI has produced.
This is the how to deal with Trump playbook. They've been playing it since 2016, and they're doing it now.
It's fascinating because as you guys just heard how Trump phrased it. He said, Tulsi put out these documents. You should really look into that because, what we're learning, what he did. And then the way ABC News phrases it is they omit Tulsi Gabbard from it. Yeah. This is how the media lies to you. Okay? Technically, they're telling the truth, but they've cut out so much information. You don't know the actual context. This is how they play up the Very Fine People hoax and all the other hoaxes. So I ask all of you listening right now, and those of you in the room, for what action? How do I say this? What is the minimum action required for you to be satisfied based on these circumstances?
I want a mugshot at least. That's like the bare minimum.
Well, so you're saying arrest?
Yes, there needs to be arrest because, listen, we've been playing these games for quite some time now, and unfortunately, we haven't seen much movement from the DOJ. I mean, we've known all of this. Everything that's come out from Gabbard's team, which I'm so thankful that it has. We've all known about these things for quite some time now, and so there should have been a blueprint by the DOJ on if they have a special prosecutor going on, or how they were going to go about making these arrests, or who they're going to go for first. Because obviously, Barack Obama would be the last arrest that they'd make. They'd want some individuals who are surrounding him to turn on him quick. And so I hope they have a plan in place. I don't hear of any grand juries going on. Obviously in DC you'd hear about it, but outside of DC I haven't heard of any grand juries going on. So I'm a little concerned that we're kind of playing catch up here, but also I can't wait for Barack Obama to try to sit there and play the presidential immunity argument here and say that he can't be prosecuted, because he can be, and he's obviously been a part of the lawfare before. So it'll be interesting to hear.
So I understand that there are going to be obviously people on X that are going to try to make that argument. Do you think that Barack Obama would actually try to make that argument? I do think that he's a little more a little more sophisticated than the average partisan, poster on X. Do you think Obama would?
I think if the walls start closing in, if the people around him start to turn, then yes, I think he'd have to make the argument of presidential immunity. But from what I'm understanding is there's probably more evidence in regards to when he left the White House and how he kept everything kind of going still. So presidential immunity wouldn't apply for that.
I think it's all fake, to be honest.
Yeah.
What do you think is fake?
I'm done believing any of this, the posting of memes and the making of claims. I'm half kidding. I know people can take it very, very seriously. What I'm saying is I'm beginning to doubt that there is any intention in going after these people. And the reason I bring that up is, although we are seeing some movement from the Trump DOJ, it's what, 1% of the actual power they have and could move on. I mean, you take a look at how the Biden DOJ went after Trump's lawyers, went after Trump himself and lied and made things up. You mean to tell me that Trump's sitting there being like, I guess we'll figure out in time? They didn't wait. They literally just said, go arrest all his lawyers and make the charges up.
But look at how Trump behaved in his first term, right? He came into office. He had said, lock her up about Hillary Clinton. And he was much more of a gentleman about it. He was like, I don't think that's appropriate to just start going after the wives of former presidents.
Well, he should now.
We're not going to do that. And when we did see the Biden administration come in and start not just prosecuting former Trump officials, but those people couldn't get jobs. It was very difficult for them to just lead a normal life at that point. And now we're in another administration, and we're seeing this administration go after the previous administration and perhaps the one before. And there's probably good reasons for a bunch of these things, but I can't help looking at a place like Venezuela, where one administration goes after the previous administration and the entire government is just hung up in muck about all of this stuff. And I find that really discouraging, that our American governmental system,
that's the future,
could come to a process where all it is you elect one group of people and they jail the previous people, and then the next people jail the previous people. I mean, that's Banana Republic.
Unless you win.
Well, but you never
win.
But you never win.
You do.
Because there's always 4 years later and somebody else is going to
No,
win.
you're just talking about the intervals by which the conflict continues. So you can take a look at Spain and what was it? Franco won for 70 plus years?
Sure, but I'm not looking for a leader for 70 years for this country.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying if Donald Trump were to weed out the corruption and solve the issue of the phony Democrat-controlled congressional seats, maybe you would not have to worry about corrupt individuals selling out your nation and taking power from you.
Well, you're exactly right. And that's what we should be looking at, right? We should be looking at redistricting. We should be looking at redistricting in Texas and New York. You had Yvette Clarke was revealed on a Zoom call today saying that she wants more migrants in Brooklyn in District 9 of New York because she wants that for her redistricting. If you look at, the population of her district, she has more people in her district than the population of some states in this country. And she wants more people to bolster, the Democratic Party. You see that in California. They have 52 seats. How many of those seats are just not legitimate because they are full of illegal immigrants who should not be counted toward, House representation at all? Never mind Texas. We have that going on. And you have Jasmine Crockett being like, redistricting is Texas, is racist and all that kind of stuff.
Could you imagine?
That's what we should be looking at.
Could you imagine going back 10 years and telling people that the FBI would raid the home of, I'm saying, literally, go back to 2015 and say, 10 years from now, it will have, or not 10 years, but, 8 years from now, the FBI will raid the home of former President Donald Trump with shoot-to-kill orders if met with commensurate force.
And that was really about all the Russia stuff.
If you went back 10 years and told someone that,
no, I think it would sound unbelievable.
they'd have you 51-50.
Yeah.
They'd say, "Oh, okay, buddy. Let me bring you to." Nobody would believe. It's scary to me. Can we go over real quick so people don't forget? Because people really do forget. They falsely accused Trump of 34 felonies. Mm-hmm. The government proved no underlying crime, which is required for these charges, and told the jury, just decide for yourself if you think there was some other crime. In what reality can the U.S. legal system just say, we're going to lock you up and let the jury decide if you committed some crime? We're not going to actually present you with the crime. You don't get to confront your accusers. You have no right to a trial in this regard. They accused him of civil fraud, even though the banks said he never defrauded them. It was all in the up and up, and they made money and would like to work with him again. They arrested his lawyers in multiple states. They arrested him in multiple states. They raided his home with authorization to kill. They were armed and told if they were met with resistance that threatened their lives or caused great bodily harm, they could use lethal force against the president and the patrons of Mar-a-Lago, which is a large club. Mm-hmm. Right now, considering all that happened, what are we actually going to say? It's been 6 months. Mm-hmm. I know everyone says be patient, be patient. It does look like moves are being made, but the most I'm hearing from anyone in this is that maybe there will be a conspiracy against rights charge. I'm like, these people, going back to 2016, tried to overthrow the government. And what I mean by that is the government is of, for, and by the people. And when the American voters vote for Donald Trump, and then a cabal of unelected individuals use governmental power to undermine the will of the people, they're a subversive force betraying this nation. And Trump has an obligation to do something about it with expedience. At this point, I'm kind of feeling like nothing's ever going to happen and you're silly if you think it will. Maybe I'll be proven wrong because I know it's early and I'm just getting a little frustrated, but
Well, Tim, if you're wrong, I think he loses MAGA, just completely loses MAGA, because that was the entire motive for so many people to go out and vote. They wanted to see justice. I mean, so many Americans, thousands of Americans were persecuted by our federal government, and everyone's sitting here waiting to see what's going to happen next. Because the lawsuits, whatever, that's just our money getting poured into these lawsuits at this point. That really doesn't have any value. But going after the people who tried to ruin the lives of so many Americans, plus go after our president, if you don't sit there and have arrests, have convictions, I think MAGA just completely loses all hope.
I don't disagree. But let's jump to this next story. This is what we were just talking about from Fox News. Immigrants needed for redistricting purposes. House Democrat admits in viral clip. Quiet part out loud.
Unreal.
Let's roll it.
Quickly, what role do you believe members of the Haitian American diaspora here can and should play in assisting the effort to stabilize and rebuild Haiti? I'm from Brooklyn, New York. We have a diaspora that can absorb a significant number of these migrants. And when I hear colleagues talk about, the doors of the inn being closed, no room in the inn, I'm saying, I need more people in my district, but just for redistricting purposes. And those members could clearly fit here.
So that's Democrats admitting, or at least a Democrat admitting exactly what they've been doing with flooding the country with illegal immigrants. They're doing it so they can steal power from the will of the American voter. And they make the argument that, but immigrants are Americans, illegal immigrants aren't, and they bring in illegal immigrants so they get counted in the census, and Democrats get extra congressional seats and extra votes in the Electoral College, thus stealing power in this nation and subverting the will of the people. I would argue that this is a use of coercive force and conspiracy against the United States. Call it whatever you want. And these people should be criminally charged and removed from office.
Beto O'Rourke was coming out with the exact same thing. He was on TV on the weekend, State of the Union, saying that what was he saying? We have to be absolutely ruthless about getting back in power. He was saying, talking about redistricting. Hakeem Jeffries was saying nothing is off the table. They want to do redistricting, and they want to do redistricting in all of these places that have already had a massive influx of illegal immigrants. And that's why the thing that Trump said, and I think Marjorie Taylor Greene was saying about how the census should count Americans, not citizens, is 100%. So important. And that's what the U.S. House should be based on.
I mean, that's the whole reason that I'm so hardline on immigration, on getting people that are here illegally out here. And if it takes punishing Americans that hire them and punishing Americans that give them like room and board or let them rent, then I'm fine with it, because it's an attempt to steal power from the American people.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
So whatever we have to do to make sure that illegal aliens leave or they get deported, I'm okay with.
Why don't we do this as Republicans? I'm an independent, but why don't we push back on this issue and start redistricting just the same way Democrats are doing it? Listen, if they want redistricting, then let's fight them on this issue. Let's do what they're doing, exactly what they're doing, and let's just drain them financially in court, drag them through the courts, make people like Mark Elias have to spend all his time on fighting off Republicans who are looking to redistrict, because they do it all the time to us, and we just never get to that same level that they are at.
I was watching... I saw some news clip earlier. Mahmoud Khalil is suing the government for like $20 million. And I was like, Donald Trump was falsely arrested and charged. and the Trump administration can't even deport a non-citizen when they have when the State Department has the Secretary of State has unilateral authority to do so. That's how weak the Trump administration is. So I'm just, this is why I'm feeling like they're not going to get anything done, because they can't even deport a non-citizen, just some student. They couldn't do it.
Yeah,
They even brought back, they brought back Abrego Garcia.
That made no sense.
You expect me to believe that Trump's going to go after these Democrats and stop them from destroying this country when he won't even deport a criminal gang member? It's ludicrous.
And
Well,
El
you did
Salvador
have-
wasn't going to give him back, by the way.
Oh, you do have Greg Abbott in Texas on Monday started a special legislative session to deal with redistricting. And there's the idea is that they could pick up 5 seats in Texas from that.
At this point, I just want an ill-tempered, cognitively impaired, morbidly obese man to be the president. And of course, that's what Democrats were saying of Trump, but Trump's not that. I'm saying give me that right now. Just an ill-tempered, impaired man, because at least when they're going to be like, if you try and arrest us and unravel what we've done, we'll come after you. What? We're threatening you. Duh. Bang. Just, I'm sick of the...
You could do a reality TV show, My 1,000-Pound
sloth.
President. Yeah.
Just sloth being like,
There's cranes lifting him in and out of the White House.
some kind of Frankenstein president that doesn't have the cognitive capacity to negotiate any of these things and just goes around arresting people who broke the law. Like, give me an
I'm the
oafish,
top
one-dimensional top cop. There you go.
Yeah.
Instead, the Trump administration, I want to stress this again. I watch on TV and they're like, not only have they released this guy they were planning to deport, he's suing them for $20 million. Like, wow, Trump is one of the weakest presidents I've ever seen in my life.
I don't know why they didn't just deport him. I feel like they could have. They could have sent him back to Syria where he's got a passport. I think his passport is Syrian.
The things that Trump has gotten done have been great. It is tremendous, USAID and the gutting of these things. It's all amazing. But seriously? Like, Kilmar Abrego Garcia? You couldn't deport that guy?
Yeah.
Why is Trump acting like these random, it really is, I'll put it this way. The district judges ran roughshod over the Trump administration until Trump asked the Supreme Court to help him. Why not just be like, no, you sue me about it? Like when the court said, Trump, you can't do this. Why didn't Trump go, okay, I'm going to keep doing it. And you go to the Supreme Court and see what they say. Instead, Trump went, rats, I guess we can't do it. Let me go ask the Supreme Court. I'm sick of this. Go on the offensive. It's boring watching nothing happen. You know what is happening? Policy stuff. It's good. I'm happy about it. What's not happening? Accountability stuff.
And the policy stuff isn't even long term. It's short term things. It's a lot of executive orders. And unfortunately, Speaker Mike Johnson has failed massively at doing what his job is. And again, they keep losing their majority in the House. And I just have to say it's probably intentional, especially when they're walking away now and going on August recess. But again, like you said, I think the American people have lost confidence in a lot of this. And I hope we could fix it quick. But again, the Garcia thing really had me boggled.
It makes you miss
Black-pilling everybody here, huh?
Who would have known? I know. Do you have something more uplifting?
Well, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is I understand why people are apprehensive about whether or not things are going to get done because the Republicans have a history of not following through and not delivering. But there is the fact that, both Comey and Brennan are under investigation now. So even if that's a baby step, that's a baby step that honestly, I don't think that any other Republican would have done.
And just keep in mind, though, the last DOJ, Merrick Garland had about 400 arrests of J6ers at this time in their administration. So, they were way more aggressive. I think that's the angle that Trump supporters are looking at.
I would love to see a far more aggressive DOJ, absolutely. Yeah. But the fact of the matter is, I don't know that with this referral from the DNI, and with the fact that Comey and Brennan have both have investigations going on, I don't think that it's time for black pills. Maybe you can say, hey, we need more, we need faster, we need a more aggressive, but I don't think that it's a situation where we should say, oh, they're definitely not doing anything. Well, they're clearly doing stuff. The DNI is doing stuff. Trump said that there's more stuff coming just tonight. So
yeah, I think also the credibility issue too. I think so many people want to If you remember back in 2016, the president's first term, there was all indictments are coming, and they never came. And those are all the talking heads on Fox News promising people that. So I think the rest of us on the independent side don't want to promise the American people that indictments are coming, because the reality is we don't see anything. I mean, I'm asking around. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean, but I'm like, you don't need a black pill completely, because I hate that so much, and I want to be optimistic, because I started so optimistic, but I also don't want broken promises.
I'm not even saying we should be optimistic, but the idea that they're not doing anything, nothing's happening. Well, I mean, look, it's likely that there are things going on. Whether or not they'll be successful, whether or not there'll be arrests, I can't say, and I think that it's probably likely that there won't be, just because of the ability for lawyers to run interference and stuff like that. But to say that they're not doing anything, I don't think that that's actually accurate. So if at the very least, if we're going to actually be honest about the situation, I mean, there are things going on, because they've got an investigation into 2 of the most likely culprits, and they have the criminal referral from the DNI. So that's just my take.
Yeah.
A criminal referral for Obama?
No, I'm talking about they don't have a criminal referral. They have the information sent over to the DOJ, and we'll see what they actually do.
Yeah.
But again, it's like I said, I understand everyone that's going to be skeptical, and I understand that people are going to say, oh, blah blah blah. But if we're going to be accurate, we can't say that.
I'd be reckless and crazy.
I think that I would love to see.
I would approach the DOJ and my priorities with reckless abandon, as it were. It's taking a very, very long time. The messaging is convoluted and makes no sense. The Epstein file debacle was pathetic. We're winning on policy issues that are going to be reversed if Trump loses and the Democrats steal power again, which this lady is talking about doing.
Yep.
And they're not doing anything about it. So maybe they are. I'm just frustrated because it's seeming like they're on the issue of accountability. They are not winning.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of add to that, President Trump, I believe, is at 150 executive orders, well over 100. And when I spoke with the Speaker's office about how many of those executive orders they have ready to hit the floor, at the time this was just maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, it was just a little over a dozen. So I think that's pretty disgusting in itself, that we are sitting here and allowing the House to not do its job. I don't understand, as we headed to midterms too, because the polls aren't really looking too favorable for Republicans, how people like the Speaker can sit there and just allow all of this to happen, because the people are going to want something to be motivated about to go out and vote for Republicans. I just don't think that they have that right now.
Well, the Democrats don't have very good polling right now either. And the House has only passed 2 laws, right? The Lake and Riley Act and the big, beautiful bill.
It's been pretty slow.
Yeah, they haven't done anything.
Yeah, Rasmussen actually just did a poll. Let me go look that one up real quick.
Yeah, the Democrats aren't doing well either. But I do think that the Republicans are destroying themselves because they keep
any money.
No, they don't. Well, they're spending a lot of money.
The fundraising, I just saw a tweet about the fundraising that the Republicans have done compared to the Democrats. The Democrats, I don't remember exactly what it was, but the Democrats have something like 8 million, and the Republicans have like twice as much.
Republicans have 85 and Democrats have 15.
Yeah, the big reason for that, though, is that the Democrats have no leadership. They need to figure out who's in charge of their party.
Well, they need to figure out what their party stands for.
Well, their party stands for Zohran Manbani. They should just make him be the head of it.
They don't, though. I was talking to this reporter from Axios today. He's working on a story about all this stuff. And I was pointing out that, there's a real opportunity for Democrats to launch their Reformation right now and target the people angry with Trump over Epstein. But they can't, because they are race and gender obsessed. And they're terrified of that base. There was I don't know if you guys saw that clip of Rahm Emanuel. He was asked by Megyn Kelly, "Can a man become a woman?" And he had pause. He was like, "No." And then she said, "Wow, thank you for saying that." And he says, "Well, I don't know." She says a lot of people won't. He goes, "They don't want to enter witness protection."
Right.
Rahm Emanuel basically said the far left is so dangerous and extreme. They have to pretend that men can transform into women, otherwise they will die.
Yeah.
That's the state of the Democratic Party. There's no way the Democrats are going to be able to reform. And so my view is there's going to be a lot of angry Trump voters who are going to keep voting Republican because there's no alternative.
Yeah, and you did have Media Matters coming out saying Rahm Emanuel rejects trans identities in appearance with Megyn Kelly. And which what's funny is the URL is Rahm Emanuel denies existence trans.
Which there's another big story. The Olympics has officially banned trans women.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a second. We'll jump to this story right now. From CNN, Johnson shuts the door on House votes before September on releasing Epstein files. Now, I found this hard to believe that the actual reason They shut down the House for a month, was over Epstein. But literally every outlet is reporting this, and CNN's even saying Speaker Mike Johnson on Monday said he does not plan to allow votes on any measure related to the Epstein case in the House's final week in Washington before a weeks-long recess. Weeks-long. It's till September, 2nd or something?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is a calendar that they've had in place since December of last year, and it has the Senate going through August 1st, but it has the House out July 24th, and that's been in place since December 9th, 2024. So it's not like they just decided. What they did do is they did not decide to actually stick around and get their jobs done and pull some overtime like the rest of us do all the time.
They should add.
Or, I mean, they have a few more days to get through some agenda items. And the argument is they're abandoning even some immigration bills they want to get passed.
Yeah.
And, of course, the corporate press is arguing that it's because they don't want to have to vote on the Epstein files because Massey and Ro Khanna plan to force the issue past leadership with, I forgot what it's called, but 218 votes in the House will get them to the floor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they're out on Thursday, and they've been planning to be out on Thursday for like 7 months.
You know what, man? Congress is the best job ever. You barely work. You pretend to work. That's the way to do it, especially with the internet these days. Yeah. You just complain online, and then you don't actually do anything, and then you go on a month-long vacation in summer.
And you spend other people's money.
Yeah.
You definitely do that. Did you hear George Santos on Tucker Carlson? I listened to a bunch of that interview because George Santos is surprisingly engaging. He basically just said what you said. He said, Congress, they don't do anything. It's basically like exaggerated high school. It's just all politics and people banging in the storage closet.
That's high school.
Yeah. Basically.
Yeah. And it's interesting, right? Because you would assume that Santos would be up for a pardon.
I think
Santos is a great example of why the Republicans not doing this stuff.
Yeah, they shouldn't have voted him out. That
Not
was
at
the
all.
stupidest, idiotic thing ever.
Speaker Johnson didn't support it, though. That's the good thing about Speaker Johnson is he was very much against all of that. But it was his own Rhino New Yorkers who went for it.
But he wasn't against it enough. He went around telling people to vote their conscience.
Yep.
And that's total trash, telling people to vote their conscience. What he should have done is said, listen, we've got this guy. He's a Republican. You might not like everything he's done with his own campaign finance, but look at half the Democrats who do the exact same stupid thing.
Yeah.
Just keep him in the House. Let's win. Like, why can't they just try winning?
Yeah, and I hear that Speaker Johnson's the one shutting down the potential argument for a pardon for Santos, thinking that it's going to affect Republicans in the midterms, and that's the argument he's trying to make.
So he's back to his same trash.
Yeah.
They are.
They're so concerned about the opinion of the New York Times, less so about their own constituents.
Yeah.
You know what? I do think the media trends are going to lead to Democrat control once again, though. Just with like media's shifting towards shorts, which is going to eliminate the long form content. And this allows things like the Very Fine People hoax to become the dominant message. And there's no real way to counter it.
Or like the Don't Say Gay bill.
Right. So the issue is when they lie, to debunk the lie, you need to break down what the bill does to prove it. And that takes a long time. So when they claim Donald Trump called Nazis very fine people, you'd have to show the full context and explain what Trump was talking about to break that lie. With the heavy shift towards shorts, Instagram stories, Reels, and TikTok, a lot of people aren't consuming fact-based information, and they're going to just be glued to their phones, swiping, having no idea what's really going on in this country. And maybe all they're actually trying to do in the uniparty is just weather the storm. In their mind, big tech will solve this problem. You will have one generation between millennials and Gen X, maybe, one small element that is going to be subversive and attuned to the facts. You get past this, you'll get a bunch of zombies again who will do whatever you say.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got nothing.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's going to be very interesting. I hope it's not shorts, the future of this country, because I watched some of those quick videos, and it's not very informative. But again, that's what everyone's loving these days. And the algorithm promotes it when it's shorter than 2 minutes. It's
not that they're loving it. It's that the machine is telling people what to love.
Yeah.
So, the trick is for almost all of these platforms, if YouTube decides that you're going to be the big show, you will be. And there was the example is this van life woman. This is years ago. She made 2 videos and got 3 million subscribers.
Oh, wow.
That's impressive.
Because apparently what had happened is that she found the cheat code keywords in one of her videos. I think the thumbnail was like her in a towel having just showered with her pet snake and living van life. which hit key algorithm points right in the slot, bullseye. So YouTube showed that video to literally everyone. Not literally, but to 50 million people. She gained millions of subs, and it was like, what just happened? And YouTube said, oops, the algorithm made you famous. That's how the machine works. They'll just decide.
Well, now it's an algorithm, but to be honest with you, there's a very similar phenomenon when it comes to like the music industry. If you're a darling in the music industry, then you will get on all of the big tours, you will get on all of the big shows, you will get put into heavy rotation at Sirius and on all the radio stations. That's the way that it's been in the music industry forever. And it doesn't. It really. I mean, to a certain degree, you have to be writing music that people want to hear. But it's marginal. You can take. There's a lot of bands out there that are very, very well known and very big that are not writing good music, and it shows in the actual spins they get on apps like Spotify and stuff like that. Like, so the idea that it's unique to YouTube, it's really not. It's something that's kind of always been when it comes to any kind of entertainment, I imagine.
I wonder about this. So I pulled up her channel. It was 1.3. She got 1.3 million subscribers in a week with 2 videos. And she just vanished. And there's a lot of people who do this. 3 years ago, she stopped making content. She was getting 1 million on every video, and it looks like she was only making, she wasn't making that many videos, a few per year, I guess. And so it's just, it is very strange how the media apparatus works right now and where it's going. Honestly, I have no idea. But this format is not going to persist. Absolutely not. All of the big podcasts.
This format.
Yeah, this like the long form 2-hour show is dying out. I mean, Colbert was the old guard version, and we're all laughing at him. But young people now are just on their phone looking at 30-second clips. They're not watching shows like this either.
But they're not even. I mean, yes, they are doing that. And the problem with those clips too, and the way that you scroll, because I'll find myself in like an endless scrolling loop, before I go to bed or something, and it's like you sit down for a minute and look at your phone, and then you look up, and it's a half hour later, and you're like, damn it, like what did I even look at? And you have no idea.
Yeah.
You watch some guy like take a suitcase and turn it into a chair. You watch like a dance video. Someone told you a better way to do Pilates, and it's like,
Oh yeah, my algorithm
Somebody
on
makes
Instagram is
cake.
it's pretty awful. It's toxic. I joke about it all the time, but it's women in their 30s getting facelifts, and it's the
oh dear God. Mine
it's
is
trying to normalize
what I said, people assembling furniture.
I'm like looking up like skincare routines, and it's like, get a facelift. No, but it's really bad because even like on certain platforms like YouTube, I just kind of gave up hope on YouTube for my personal content that I was posting, because we stop at like 1,500 followers, and like that's it, subscribers, and that's all you get on my content. I've never been able to master the algorithm on YouTube.
I think YouTube intentionally manipulates the algorithm for political reasons.
Yeah.
The van life story, I think, hit the nail on the head with the hammer. The reason why I think this woman got so many subscribers is that YouTube, behind the scenes, said, we want everyone living in vans and not owning homes. You will live in the pod, you will eat the bugs. And this was 2019 when this happened. This is just before COVID. People were commenting online that they had never looked at this stuff before, and they were getting inundated with van life videos telling them to go live in vans.
Yeah, I remember when that happened to me. Absolutely. I didn't understand why it was happening, but now that makes sense.
Why everyone was getting inundated with this hypnotic suggestion to not have a house and live in a van.
WEF. It's a very powerful group.
And then, you know what happened? These people bought vans, lived in them, and then abandoned them right away because it was miserable. And they were like, that was the stupidest idea I've ever had. I couldn't take a dump anywhere.
It's not awesome to live in a van. Yeah. I spent a lot of time living in a van, and it is not awesome. As soon as you can get a bus, you will forego pay to get a bus. Like when you're in a van, you'll be like, okay, we could take a van and make good money, or we can get a bus and be comfortable. Bus. Every single time, zero question. Bus.
Yeah, we got the trailer for our mobile shows, and I'm like, I could totally live in this. There's a bedroom, there's a TV, there's a kitchen. It's like a little 1-bedroom apartment. That's nice. But in a van, here's the other problem with all of it is you can't shower, go to the bathroom. Even in the trailers, you're actually tracking where all that water is going. When you shower, you're like, do not use too much. Not only do we have very little, but we got to drain the tank and find somewhere to drain it. And you can't go to the bathroom when it's full. And then, oh God.
That sounds awful.
Yep.
This is why when I was like moving out here, I was like, has to be town sewer.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, septic's fine.
Yeah, I grew up with septic, and there were always issues. There was a leaching field. There was don't run over there because that's where the septic is. It was just, no, I'm not doing that.
All right, let's jump to this story from ABC News. U.S. Olympic and Paralympic officials bar trans women from competing in women's categories. That is massive. Trans women will no longer be eligible to compete in the U.S. in the Olympic or Paralympic Games in women's categories after a recent policy change from the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee. Now, the question is, what about other nations?
Well, the thing is that other nations will have to comply if they want to compete in the United States.
Good.
I like it.
For the Olympics.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
Perhaps
that's the rule.
2032, there'll be only guys. Like if
Yeah.
they go to a different country.
If you go to a different country.
If they go to like
yeah.
France or something.
Or because Pakistan will load their team, their women's soccer team, full of fellas.
Why not?
That's what they do. They already do that.
Really?
Yeah.
Pakistan does this?
Pakistan has, I'm pretty sure Pakistan has men on the women's.
Really?
They would allow that?
Either that or it was a parody and I fell for it. But I'm pretty sure that it was Pakistan.
Well, they prefer trans people to homosexuals, correct?
Well, Iran
That's Iran,
forcibly
yeah.
transes people.
Yeah, I'm only saying this because it
Yeah.
has to do with Islam, and if I understand correctly, what?
Yeah, Shia Islam. They basically say you can, yeah.
So she is, but not
Shia
Sunni.
Islam, not Sunni, from what I understand.
Oh, okay.
Only in Iran, that's it. Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, and is Pakistan Shia or Sunni?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I know they do it in Iran. I don't know if they're in Pakistan.
Okay, I'll Google that and find out.
But yeah, so the IOCC used to say that males who had a certain measure of testosterone were allowed to compete on women's teams, but Trump said absolutely not in the United States. So that's why the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Commission had to change their rules, because otherwise American athletes wouldn't be able to compete
Pakistan
in the
is
US
Sunni.
Olympics.
So GPT says there are no publicly known or confirmed trans women competing on any women's soccer teams, but maybe it's hallucinating.
It's possible.
Well, common sense is back and it's winning. And I'm excited for that, at least at this point, because previous administration would have never even fought for this. So
They would have fought against it.
Yeah.
They would have fought to make sure the whole team was nothing but dudes.
Isn't it crazy? And they call themselves the party of women's rights. It's the complete opposite. And for some reason, they've been able to brainwash so many people into accepting
Well, it's reverse chess, right? It's like, what do the Democrats want historically? You know, if you go back to the Civil War, this is a time when women didn't vote. They were in the home and they had slaves. So what are Democrats doing right now? They're claiming to fight for the welfare of the black community, instead promoting policies that just keep them impoverished and struggling. They say that they want rights, but then demand to have foreigners with no rights clean their bathroom floors. And now they're allowing men in women's sports, which is pushing women out, which will return women to their place. And they want women to be drafted.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing about trans and how so many lefty women got suckered into that whole thing is because women are,
Agreeable?
stereotypically more agreeable. So if a big man in a dress comes in and tells you, "I'm a woman now," the women are gonna be like, "Oh, okay, we'll do what the big man in a dress says." And what they will forget is that feminists are supposed to be not agreeable, right? Like, I remember talking to my friends about this, we were all feminists, and I was like, "Why are you going along with this? Like, we're supposed to be the disagreeable ones. Why are you just saying yes?"
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
And there's no argument for it. There's
No.
never any clear argument on their behalf as to why we should be doing this. Well, they
there's
think
a
that
lot
they're
of
women.
and there's a lot of them too that don't believe that men are women, but go along with it anyway because of the aforementioned agreeableness.
Do you really think that that's the situation, that women actually don't think it, but they don't feel like they can stand up and say it?
I think that is true in an enormous amount of cases. I know that my friends who I was working in, feminist theater collective with, they all agreed with me that men are not women, but they definitely did not feel like they could say that out
How long
loud.
ago was
Because
that?
men would beat them.
Yeah. Well, that was 2018.
Okay, so that wasn't actually very long ago. Do you think that
Meanwhile, 7 years before that, when we were doing a show like making fun of trans and abortion and surrogacy and adoption and organ harvesting in 2013, when we did that show, they all openly agreed with me, and it wasn't an issue.
do you think that there's a fear of being associated with the right wing with women that you would be in that kind of, you know.
I think it really is a lot more simple than that. I think it's you don't want your friends to yell at you at cocktail parties. You still want to be invited to all the things.
The point that I'm making is if you are a right-leaning person, then those things don't happen to you generally.
Right.
So,
have you seen those memes that's like, you guys are a lot of fun. We're not leftists.
go on, please.
Well, that's the meme. It's like people boating.
Okay.
You know, and then someone will be like, you guys seem like a lot of fun. And the people on the boat will be like, that's because we're not leftists.
Because I imagine that women would voice their opinion. And the reason that more women have actually started to voice their opinion now is because they're getting support from more people that are
Right. What did
center
it take?
and right-leaning.
It took J.K.
Donald
Rowling.
Trump winning.
No, it took J.K. Rowling.
Yes. And look what they did to her.
Right. And
Okay.
she came out, so she came out in December of whatever the year that was and said, you know, like, go to bed with whoever will have you, but men aren't women, basically. But the previous June, she had come out and basically said something similar. And her PR rep was like, oh, no, she's just old and she doesn't know what she's saying. And she backed off it.
My favorite thing was how J.K. Rowling was on board with all of it for a while, like saying, actually, Hermione Granger was black. And then she was like, I
Although
think
that holds up in the books.
yeah, because she's like, she's got frizzy hair, right? That proves it. And it's like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
Come on. Stop constantly. And then what did she say? Like some character, Dumbledore's gay. And it's like, oh, come on. And then she made him gay. And it's just like, ugh. We get it, lady. But then they came for her identity. And then she had to come out. Now, with all due respect, I do appreciate she stood up to the woke psycho mob and everything. But, and you know, to be fair, when would you expect someone to actually become a prize to the threats faced by wokeness? Certainly when it affects them and they feel it and they see it. So it is good that she spoke up. And man, what did they do? They had like a Christmas special and they disinvited her or something.
Yeah, she was not part of the Christmas special on HBO.
And even
But
to this
she is
day,
part of the new series.
Rupert Grint, I'm pretty sure it was like Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and Daniel Radcliffe have like basically insulted her.
Yeah, but Draco Malfoy, whatever that actor's name was,
Tom
he was
Felton.
like, whatever, J.K. Rowling is great. She gave me a great career, and I support her entirely. Rupert Grint has had no career.
That's not true.
Really? What's he been in?
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Has he?
Yeah.
He sucks.
Really? I mean, I like him. You know, Tom Felton, the great actor Tom Felton.
I
of
like
course.
him. Yeah.
He was on the CW in I think The Flash, and he is now doing the Broadway. What is he doing? He's playing Draco Malfoy again.
Is he in? He's in the Harry Potter and the Children's Curse thing or whatever that is.
I think so. The stage show. He's back to being adult. He's now adult Malfoy, and he's returned to what is that? Harry. I don't know what it's called. I don't know.
Oh, he was in a couple things. Rupert Grint. Yeah, I think he's awful.
He plays guitar. I did not know that.
I don't know anything about Harry Potter.
Yeah, I'm out on this one.
Keanu Reeves is starring in a Broadway show right now with Alex Winter.
Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, they're basically reprising Bill and Ted's, except with
Not the weird woke garbage.
yeah,
that ruined
with,
it.
well, no, they're doing Samuel Beckett's Waiting for Godot, but they're doing the okay.
I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with
This is one of
Broadway at all.
No, it's not. It's not a Broadway. It's like not even a Broadway show.
Oh, okay.
It's like this weird old avant-garde show about two guys waiting for somebody. And they just wait the whole time. And then at the end, I'm not giving anything away.
See, you know, I got to defend
I won't give it
I got to
away.
defend old
I'll
Rupert
let Tim
Grint here. You know, I was talking to the missus about that song "Drops of Jupiter," the band Train, and I said, I was like, yeah, it's a huge song. It's like, oh wow, you know, I never knew that it was Train. And then my wife was like, well, I mean, what did they have, like 2 songs? So, you know, what do you really know by them? And I was like, which one? She was like, I think it was Hey Soul Sister, right? Is that what it's called? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's not true. And I bet they have a ton of hits. And then we looked it up and they have like 50 top Billboard
really?
songs. Like not literally 50. I think they have like 17. They have Hey Virginia, Calling All Angels, Drive By, Hey Soul Sister. Like their Train is massive. Huge. And I was like, I never knew I actually liked this band. I had no idea that it was the name of the band, and everybody knows those songs. So anyway, there's a lot of issues where, like, you would say Rupert Grint's not in anything, well, because you don't watch the things that he's in. But if you pull up his filmography, he's been in
He's been in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, nonstop.
I think part of that is that the
He was in that movie. What was that movie that?
Guillermo del Toro movie.
He was in that, but he does all the M. Night Shyamalan stuff.
Oh yeah, I would never think he had a career based on that because I never watch any of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the latest one? Oh, actually, that one wasn't bad. What was that movie?
Is this Knock at the Cabin? I'm looking at his IMDb.
Yeah, I think that was it. I wouldn't call it like, you know what, to be honest, it's one of the better M. Night Shyamalan movies.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't really had much of a collective culture in the past 10 or 15 years. It's hard to know like what even the most popular things are because the level of popularity of the most popular things is so degraded from what the level of popularity had been.
Do you remember when the Khaleesi stepped out of the burning hut naked and everything on fire?
No.
You don't remember that, Phil?
I never watched
Serge knows.
It was Game of Thrones, right?
It was crazy how every Sunday when a new episode of Game of Thrones came out, everyone on Twitter was tweeting about the episode. And then when Daenerys Targaryen, she kills, what's his name, Drago or whatever, I don't know, it's been so long, it's been a decade. She knocks the fire, everyone burns to death, but she can't be burned. And then she walks out, everything's on fire, and they're all screaming and dying. And that's how the episode ended. The fire emoji was trending. Everybody was just blasting fire emojis on Twitter. And it's kind of interesting because far leftists, corporate press, and anti-establishment personalities were tweeting with each other, talking about the show, and that stuff is unifying, but we don't have that anymore.
No, that was a cool thing about Game of Thrones. So it was so cool, in fact, that I tried to watch Game of Thrones, and the violence within the first, 15 minutes was enough to... Because I was a new mom at that point, and there's you just can't really handle violence against children and stuff when you're a new mom.
Enough.
Can't do it.
There's nothing unifying anymore. There's no issue where some liberal new journalist and some MAGA guy are going to tweet at each other and be like, "Yeah, that was awesome," like a rock band or something. It's just completely bifurcated.
When I was a kid, at the next day in school, we'd all be talking about literally the Cosby Show or whatever the shows were. There was must see TV on NBC, and if you hadn't watched the shows, you were out of the loop. You didn't have anything to talk to your friends about at lunch because we all watched the same TV. We'd talk about that and what we had for dinner because we were very exciting.
It's a whole 9 yards.
Yeah, that was it.
I wonder how we emerge from this, right? Maybe we can't. If you go back in time, you have a little village. Everybody's talking about the same thing. They go to church. They talk about the same thing. They go back home. Little girls and little boys grow up together, believing the exact same things, living the lives exactly that their grandparents live, farming or, rudimentary jobs in a small village.
Except for those black sheep who break off, go to London. Yeah.
Sure, these things happen. But then you'd end up with the boy and the girl would grow up wanting the exact same things around the exact same people, knowing each other their whole lives. They'd get married and have kids, and then the process would repeat. But we largely believed the same things. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting when you hear these stories about the jihad or whatever the religion may be. A violent religion comes, puts you on the ground, puts a knife to your throat and says, denounce your religion. That's basically saying, reject everything you know to be true. It's telling someone to rapidly alter, and some people did and some people didn't. Now, no one believes anything.
No.
So even next door neighbors completely disagree. How do we function as a society when you're going to walk outside your house, especially with the AI stuff that's coming? We were messing around with AI music earlier, and it's absolutely insane.
Yeah.
Seriously, take any
Very
song. Guys,
crazy.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Open up Suno, S-U-N-O, take any MP3 you have, upload it, tell it to cover the song, and it'll auto-load the lyrics, and then you can change the style. So you can literally take a Beatles song, you can take Eleanor Rigby, load it up and say, make a house cover, and it will. And it's nuts. We are going to watch different shows, walk outside. Your neighbor's going to be grabbing, not the newspaper, I guess walking their dog, who knows. And you're going to say, hey, did you catch the latest episode of House? And they're like, House was canceled years ago. Oh, yeah, but I AI generate new episodes you've never seen. What are you going to ask them about?
Yeah.
You'll have nothing in common. You're going to watch your own AI generated football matches.
Well, and it's like you were talking about before with things getting shorter and way less involved and the people scrolling. There's these kids are going to have to figure out what they relate about and what they think is important and how they communicate with each other. My son plays video games with his friends online, and they talk on Discord while they're playing, or they talk on the phone while they're playing in-game chat or whatever. And he's managed to coordinate old friends from different places with new friends from, where we live now and stuff. But they managed to find common ground in obscure things that no one else knows about anyway, but like they have their like, what I don't even remember what the name of the new game is that one of his friends was like, we have to play this, and now they're all playing this game. It looks cool.
Maybe,
He's showing me
I'm thinking about it. The last unifying thing is politics. And it's not unifying us, but there were always two teams. We just never really cared all that much about politics because we were more concerned with what was on the Tonight Show or something like that. Mm-hmm. Now, because media is completely decentralized, the only thing that we have unifying us is the two parent factions of politics because people in power do not want to give that up and are holding on to it. I wonder if what ends up happening is politics gets decentralized in much the same way, and then you have the two-party system breaking.
What would that look like, decentralized politics?
Just look at how media is today and politics, right? You'll get 7,000 people voting for one party, 7,000 voting for another party, and then we look at the list of 48,000 different political parties in the U.S. Hey, that one got 1 million votes. They won.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what Elon Musk is hoping for. And I know, we were just talking about talking to your neighbors and what do you have in common to talk to your neighbors about these days. I think most people don't even talk to their neighbors anymore. I walk past people I live with in my building and they don't even say hello. And I think that's also adding to this political tension between both sides because we're not communicating with people. We're only communicating online. And I feel like everyone's just completely lost we do have a lot in common with other people. Like, I mean, even though I know we tend to think that Democrats aren't very patriotic, I think that when I do talk to Democrats, they do have a love for our country, and if we have a lane of communication, I think we'd all be able to understand that and be able to talk about that. Phil's looking like, do that.
No, I think we have to break down what you mean by a love for this country.
Yeah. So different.
The typical zombified liberal who has no idea what this country is, I wouldn't say loves this country.
Yeah, I think the moderate Democrat though still does.
I disagree.
Moderate Democrat might.
Yeah.
But I think that most of your actual left-leaning Democrats and further left than Democrats, they don't. They legitimately hate the country.
Well, they're fuming off of hate.
So sure. I'll put it this way: if you loved this country, would you intentionally empower people who are burning the country to the ground? Like if you have a beautiful house and you're like, I love my house. Okay, I love this house.
Yeah.
Would you let people in who are smashing the windows and starting fires?
Well, no, you wouldn't. But here's the other thing, too. I think their algorithm is different than our algorithm, but they don't even see this stuff. I talk to my sisters who don't even agree with me politically on things. And when I'm pointing out things, I mean, even the whole Joe Biden, Ashley Biden diary, they had no idea about any of this. It's like they live in a totally separate world.
Sure. They love the country the way I love watching House. I've seen a handful of episodes. They're pretty good.
Yeah. I
can't really cite it. I know the name of one actor, Hugh Laurie. But someone asked me, I'd be like, yeah, I love House. It's a great show. Yeah. Okay, name one episode. I don't know any of the titles of the episodes. I don't know any of the actors except for Hugh Laurie. I can't even off the top of my head remember a single episode. Wait, hold on, let me try. No, I can't do it.
I can remember
the magician one.
Episode.
The magician one. I don't remember why or how, but a magician threw a card at the wall and tricked House.
Breanna, what would you say to someone that says, look, there was a time where Democrats would say that they love America, right? But nowadays they don't. And then say you were to present evidence like, look at Superman, right? Superman historically had the motto, truth, justice, and the American way. And even up to not the most recent, but the Superman incarnation that was previous to this, right? The Man of Steel. I just watched that the other night. And at the end, the Superman's character says, he's like, I'm from I grew up in Kansas. It doesn't get much more American than that. And there are American flags throughout the film, right? That was in the whole film. The American flag is about the most colorful things that you see in the Man of Steel, right? But then in the new one, James Gunn has changed the motto to truth, justice, and the human way.
He never says that though.
He doesn't?
Not in the movie.
Okay, so that's what James Gunn has said in interviews, and I don't know for sure. Tim, you'd know because you've seen it, but I don't think that they have the same kind of love of the American flag and that same kind of image.
I will say I don't recall in the movie him saying anything like that, but the premise of the movie is literally that he stops two countries from going to war, and one of those countries is aligned with the U.S. government. The U.S. government is upset about it, but they don't think he should be charged. They say, well, he's well intentioned, and we don't want to go to war publicly with Superman. So it's I don't know.
Let's go to war with Superman. But the point being, there was a time where we did, we had these shared ideas and things that we all believed and and it was okay to be patriotic and love America. And a character like Superman was thought of as the quintessential American. He grew up in Kansas. He came to America from outer space. He grew up in Kansas. His parents were pro-America. Like, he believed in the American way. And now, the people that are writing Superman, they're trying to make him more of an international thing. He's for all of humanity, et cetera, et cetera.
He's an immigrant.
Yeah, that kind of. I mean, what's your take on that? Do you still think that the people that write these kind of movies and stuff like this kind of fiction?
Wait.
Do you think that they really love America?
I got it. Have you seen Men in Black?
No, I'm not a movie person.
You haven't seen Men in Black?
I love
from 1999 or whatever it's from?
I know. I'm sorry.
So for those that are listening, the alien comes, crash lands, and then Vincent D'Onofrio's character walks out as a farmer, and it eats him and then puts his skin over his body and walks into the house, and he goes, "Sugar water." And the wife's like, "What?" He's like, "Sugar water." And then she puts sugar in the water and he just slams it. He's like, "More." Well, she loves Edgar, right? Just like Democrats love America. So when these disgusting zombified liches wear this country like a skin suit and the moderate liberals can't tell the difference and say, "I love America," it's like, that is a Marxist zombie, not America. What they're claiming they love does not actually represent this country.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I think that there's a lot of ignorance on the left, and I don't think that they see it as Marxist. They don't see it there.
But like, right, like the argument is, Sloth loved Baby Ruth but didn't know what it was either. You know what I mean? So we can certainly recognize that people who are cognitively impaired and don't pay attention can love something. But just like the stupid child who thinks the baby wolf is a puppy until it grows up, these people are sitting there being like, "I don't see any of this stuff." It's like that. Remember that Emirates flight that flew straight over Iran during the war? And the meme was, I turned off social media. My mental health has never been better.
Right.
That's what they are. So when they're like, Donald Trump claims Obama was engaged in treason, but he had no evidence. We're sitting here being like, oh my God. Do you literally get your news from memes? And they're like, hey, you're a fascist. Because who did we have on who believed the Very Fine People hoax?
I remember
journalist.
That
was
video. I don't remember.
Karen or whatever her name is.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember what her last name was, but her first name was Tara.
And she was like, wait, Trump never said that. And we were like, holy crap, it's been almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Trump never said that. They still believe it.
Well, I would more so blame Republican messaging. I mean, there's very little outreach. I remember when I graduated high school, for an example, they hit you with a registration form to register to vote. And I just figured that since I'm a female, I've got to just go on the line of Democrats. And it's because Republicans don't have any outreach. I talk to Black Americans all the time, and they don't even realize that they have conservative values. And yet they still have loyalty to a party that doesn't align with their actual beliefs. I think it's a messaging issue that they just keep flopping on.
Do you believe that your average run-of-the-mill Democrat thinks that Black people can't get IDs?
Tough one. I think it's more of a liberal thing. I don't know if it's all of them.
Sonny Hostin
I'd
said
be-
it's a vestige of slavery.
I'd be willing to bet that if you went to New York and asked your average person, they're going to be like, yeah, it's really hard for them.
And they just don't think it through, and they just don't realize how racist that is, and that Black people have driver's licenses and non-driver's IDs and file their taxes and have birth certificates.
So when we say they love this country, I don't know what they love, but when you have I'm not trying to drag her and be a dick because we enjoyed her coming on the show, but this woman is a journalist who lives in Brooklyn, and she believed near 10 years on that Trump called Nazis fine people. So she claims that she's not being biased and she's not a liberal, and it's like, I don't think you understand. You are, the Andrew Breitbart called this default liberal. They have no idea what they're talking about. They don't do the research, and they think they're smart. I'll give a shout out to Jess Margera, who literally tweeted that he was a better journalist than all of the journalists sitting in his pajamas because he uncovered Epstein was funding Pam Bondi, when in fact, all he actually uncovered was aggregate donation listings on Open Secrets. But he's too stupid to realize he's stupid.
Right.
So perhaps they love America, but Dunning-Kruger impairs their ability to make the country work.
Yeah, I mean, so the reporter you're talking about who lived in Brooklyn. I mean, it's like there's no conservative voices out there that they're ever going to interact with. There's no moderate Republicans that they're going to interact with, likely in Brooklyn, New York.
And as a journalist, there's no reason why they would ever fact check any of these stories.
Because they're not real journalists, yeah, for sure. And I think that's the problem here. But I mean, you were just talking about the algorithm too. It's also tainted. And if you're not an intelligent person who's searching for facts, you're gone.
Let's jump to this story from Rolling Stone. Stephen Colbert addresses cancellation by telling Trump to go F yourself. I love this because his ratings are in the gutter.
Yeah. His
demographic is about to go off the cliff. And he's acting like he's been personally slighted while engaging in conspiracizing. Is that a word?
It is now. I like it.
It is now. He basically says on the show, the reason why it's remarkable. He goes, according to a leaked report, the show was losing $40 to $50 million per year. 40, that's too much. I can imagine 24. Then where would the other 16 go? And it's like, wait, what? Is he implying that CBS is okay losing $24 million a year and he's getting canceled now because they got to give $16 million to Trump? For the lawsuit?
As if the lawsuit isn't annually, right? Like every year they're going to have to give him. That's stupid. And then also, like, if it's Donald Trump's fault, if he was really doing it to shut him up and stuff,
it's not.
Why would they allow him to, or why would he allow him to stay for another year while he can sit there and mauled every night?
Well, the reality is, Colbert gets. He says we're number one in ratings. Yeah, among 70-year-olds, bro.
Yeah.
So when you actually look at Key Demo, he loses to Kimmel. When you look at his YouTube channel, he's the worst performing of all of the hosts. He's lying. And this is one of the most pathetic responses to your show being canceled I've ever seen. Bro, shows get canceled all the time. Is there any other moment we've seen in history where a guy had a meltdown the way Colbert did over his show getting canceled?
It's been ridiculous. And a bunch of celebrities went to his show, I think, was it last night at the Ed Sullivan Theater in New York to show their support. And you had Adam Sandler in the audience and Andy Cohen and a whole bunch of
And no one knew it happened because nobody watches that show.
No. Yeah. And then you also had Jon Stewart led a gospel choir in the song, go F yourself, where that was the only lyric, and he's dancing around. Meanwhile, did you see what Trump said?
What did he say?
It's really good to see them go, and I hope I played a major part in it. He called for Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon to be next in the cancellation. Yeah.
Happy Gilmore 2 is coming out on Friday.
I will go see that.
And it's on Netflix.
Oh, is it?
It is a sign of the end of times. Colbert's audience, they're aging. They're 70 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So realistically, we can't even argue they'll be around that much longer. I mean, maybe a lot of these really old folks are just sitting in the chair, sunken into the sofa. Just that's all they do all night. I'm not trying to be mean to old people, but they're just chilling. They're not doing much.
Yeah.
But how much are they participating in the market that advertisers want to be involved in that and that it's going to have an impact? What I will say is I think the reason this has persisted as long as it has is that there are no young people, which I often bring up, which gives disproportionate weight to older generations, of which, boomers are a very large generation.
But you also have the boomers are refusing to give up anything. They're refusing to sell their homes. They're refusing to, give up their late night talk shows. They're refusing to give up their jobs.
Who raised them?
Who raised them? That was the silent generation. That was the people that fought in World War II.
That's
raised
the greatest,
these
isn't it?
people. Yeah.
Silent would be
silent was Biden.
Yeah.
And the next was my grandparents, greatest generation. Yeah.
Greatest had the boomers. Now, what did the greatest generation do wrong that it led to? And I know I gotta always caveat this because everyone always assumes you're talking individually about them and take it personally. There is a reality. Gen Z and millennials are lazy. That does not mean that all of them are lazy. It means that many of them, that we are seeing trends among this generation. Boomers, there's a trend among their generation to hoard and not to disperse among their generations the way previous generations did. Now, it's not entirely their fault. They are living a lot longer. It used to be that in the past you would die, so your stuff would just move on.
Mm-hmm.
But boomers own a disproportionate amount of wealth relative to every other generation, and it is shockingly insane.
That's definitely true that's happening. Yeah, they do have a lot more. They still have a couple of homes each, a lot of these people. But
corporate equities, everything. They own 80%
of the stock market.
Yeah.
I mean, what happens when they go? The stock market will just maybe tank.
It is going to tank. So I have predicted this, and I could be wrong because who the F am I? But when these people, so equities maybe, but the housing market, I think, is going to be insane. And they're going to have to they're going to have to prop it up with communistic like government controls. Because when a boomer dies.
You mean like 2008, or different? That was propped up too.
Different, but here's what I think may happen. Gen Z has no money. They're accumulating no wealth. Many of them have decided not to even bother saving because how the hell are you going to buy a $500,000 house
So expensive.
when you're getting paid $35,000, $40,000 a year to start? There's no vision. When you look at that, there's a clip from Boy Meets World. Or was it? No. Was it Boy Meets World?
I don't know.
I don't know. Was it with Topanga?
Yeah, that's Boy Meets World.
Okay, so in one of the later episodes, they're buying a house, and it's like $80,000 for a house. Jeez, I'm gonna need $4,000 down.
80,000?
It was a viral clip. This is from the late
Mary
90s.
Joseph. Yeah, I
late
remember
90s.
this.
So Gen Z is not saving. Boomers are going to die, and they're going to give their houses to their millennial children. Now, what's going to happen is millennial from Missouri inherits a $500,000 house, but they live in Chicago.
They're going to try and sell it to nobody.
And there's no one of their generation who has the wealth to buy. So what ends up happening is a bunch of millennials may inherit properties, but no one has the liquid cash to actually buy a house. They may be swapping houses with each other to try and live in areas they want to live, but the market is going to tank. There's going to be no Gen Z buyers and no Gen Alpha buyers. There's no Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha is only 40 million, which is psychotic. It's half the size of the millennials.
How big is the Gen Z?
Gen Z is 72 million. Millennial is 80 and Alpha is 42.
That's crazy.
Absolutely insane.
But I mean, the Gen Z still has time to have some Gen Alpha.
I think they capped Gen Alpha's closed now.
Is it?
Yeah, I think Gen Alpha ends officially this year.
Oh.
And so it's remarkably small. If you do take the interpretation to extend it by 2 years, they're looking at 50 million.
Yeah.
So, okay, still a little bit more than half.
Not replacement.
But if a millennial inherits a house, Gen Z can't buy it. And the value of the property is based upon the demand. So so here's what happens. In a true market, you inherit $1 million house. Let's be real. 10 years from now, the price are probably going to be $1 million, and then you're going to put it on the market. No one's going to want to buy it because they can't. And so you're going to go to the agent and you're going to say, look, I don't want to move to Missouri. I don't want to hire a management company to maintain the property. Your agent's going to say, if you do not, squatters will take it over or it will fall apart. A pipe can burst and you will find out a week later the house is gone. You need to do something with it. And they're going to go, oh, sell it. We have no offers at $1 million. 800,000. A week later, we have 0 offers. 5, 0 offers. 4, okay, BlackRock has come in and said they'll buy it at 4.
Yeah, that's a disaster too. And then you have the
foreign buyers too.
Foreign buyers, China, because of course Katie Hobbs can't be bothered to pass the law that bans Chinese buying land in Arizona.
You know what's really crazy over by us? A lot of people like to say that Tim lives in the middle of nowhere. And they built a studio even further out in the middle of nowhere. Bannon was talking about driving up in the woods to our old studio where we had lived at the time. Now we have this big property, and they've started developments have been popping up.
Yeah,
it's
have you seen it
around here?
I think they've built like 50 to 100 houses.
The townhouses I saw on the way
And
over.
Who is going to move into these things?
No, it's not just that. They're not increasing infrastructure. So if you try and drive down these roads now, there's traffic jams. On these
we
roads,
had a traffic jam
and there's
today.
like less people in this state than the entirety of Brooklyn.
Yeah, and the houses are all terrible.
And the houses are terrible.
Yeah, they're cheap.
Poorly built.
Yeah. But that's
who
the
are they
future.
for?
I have not been, because there's not a lot of jobs either.
Mass
And they're like
migration.
300,000.
What's going on?
Well, they're $300,000. Like the area that I live in, where my place is. Like I'm the first tenant in this townhouse that I got down here, right? And there's a bunch of houses in the neighborhood. It's not only townhouses, and the houses start at like $350. I think they say they start in the threes. I'm not exactly sure, but like $350,000 for maybe a quarter, an eighth of an acre. There's like no property. It's just the house. The house is probably two bedrooms. I'm not sure. I'm gone in to look at any of the stuff, but like they're popping up all over the place. They're still building in my area, so I have no idea who they're going to get to fill these houses at all. But the places that they're building, they are getting filled very quickly. So it could be people,
who?
but it's probably renters.
Yeah, a lot of renters.
I know I rent.
Renters. Yeah.
Down here, at least.
And it's kind of crazy, too. All these new houses that they're building, I mean, whether it's Florida, Texas, nobody has a backyard anymore. And I remember just growing up, everyone had a backyard, and it was like a thing. And for some reason, now, I mean, we know what the reason is. Their houses are very close together now. That seems to be the new norm with no backyards.
I have a backyard.
Yeah.
And I have an acre.
I have a little bit of
You're
a
living the good life.
And
I have a little bit of a
love
backyard down
I love
here,
my
but-
little tiny house.
But in New Hampshire, I've got a whole lot of property. So
Well, in New Hampshire, you're a landed estate owner.
I am.
You know,
a
you're a
landed estate
duke.
owner. 50 acres. It's
Maybe even an earl. I
beautiful.
don't know which one is
Great.
higher up.
You could build townhouses on that land.
No, I'm not building anything. I'm keeping my privacy is what I'm doing. So
The interesting thing about all this generational stuff is that when the '08 crash happened, immediate predictions emerged that 18 years from now, we will be economically devastated because people stopped having babies. And what we're seeing right now is universities are collapsing because there's no enrollment.
yeah.
So there was one university, it was like in Utah, it was like 200 years old, and it just shut down and went out of business.
Really?
Yep. No young people means no colleges. Yeah, that's a good thing, I guess.
I remember when I was trying to get into college, and at the time, Gen X was like the lowest birth rate generation because of like Vietnam, abortion, and contraception, right? So we all of us I even got into college. I had no business getting into college, and I got in and I went to college. And there was no reason I should get into college. There just weren't enough people to fill the colleges. So I got a spot.
Wow.
Yeah, it wouldn't be too bad if they shut down.
They're going to turn the old college buildings into migrant housing. That's not a joke. That's not a joke.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Several like liberal arts colleges in Westchester just full of Guatemalan immigrants.
Yes. And you're going to walk in and they're going to have like stewed beef and it's going to be delicious.
Right.
Lamb,
Right.
Well,
Well, goat, depending on where people
Yeah,
are actually
gross.
from. Yeah.
and you're going to have to learn
Guinea
Spanish.
pigs, those giant guinea pig things.
Capybara.
Yes.
They eat capybara. I don't eat capybara.
I don't know. I'm
No.
making stuff up.
Everybody's friends. with
I'm
capybara.
making stuff up.
Everybody's friends.
Everybody loves a capybara.
Let's jump to this story from the Post Millennial. Pam Bondi removes first assistant U.S. attorney for NJ after federal judges replace Alina Habba. This is a crazy story.
This is a crazy story.
The simple version is Alina Habba hasn't been given her confirmation hearing for the role of U.S. attorney for New Jersey. So these judges are like, she got to go. And so they're trying to effectively replace her with somebody else. It is pure politics. And Bondi was like, nope, you fired. So this is administrative civil war like in our faces. This is nuts.
Yeah, this is crazy. So these judges, they said, okay, you've had 120 days to be the, U.S. attorney for New Jersey, and now you're out. And they appointed her first assistant or whatever. And so Pam Bondi removed the first assistant and said, well, now they're fired and you don't have them either. So now the position is vacant.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, this is what we wanted, right? We wanted a DOJ that's going to fight back.
Well, that's
I
The
give them
DOJ
kudos.
has to appoint. Yeah.
They do. And you know what? We're always critical. Well, I'm always critical of Pam Bondi, so I'll give her this win because we want someone who's going to push back, be aggressive, go out there and tell these rogue judges that this is not their place. They don't get to make these decisions, that this is the DOJ's decision. And if they want to sit there and toss someone out, then they'll just keep replacing them with hopefully further right individuals who will continue to push the President Trump's agenda.
I mean, like I was going to say, this is an aggressive move by the DOJ, and it's nice to see. And hopefully, we'll see more of this kind of aggressive pushback on what essentially amounts to Democrats doing everything they can to obstruct, which is what's going on with the Alina Habba stuff.
I would love to see them actually put people in positions like this who are victims of lawfare. Giuliani, obviously one of them, Jeff Clark, another attorney who was the victim of lawfare. I don't know if they're licensed in New Jersey to practice, but you know what? Let's just go all in.
What's
Let's put
Doug
the people...
Mackey doing,
Oh, Mackey.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, I think that they need to push back on this issue, and I'm happy that she's doing so. And I think all the people who went out there, those little communists who decided to go after anyone who was representing President Trump and tried to instill fear into attorneys and make sure that they never represent President Trump ever again, I think we need to push back on that same type of hatred.
Yeah, I would love to see as much pushback as the DOJ and the administration is comfortable with.
It's a good sign.
It is a good sign. And again, these are small things, and it's not the kind of aggressive, action that I would like to see. but it is better than what you've seen from past Republican administrations. I mean, Donald Trump in his first administration was fairly, milquetoast. He wasn't as aggressive, nearly as aggressive as he's talked, and I would love to have seen him be more aggressive back then. But now you see, well, I think that the administration should, I can't say what they do, but they should see the reality that they exist in, and that if you do not exercise power when you have it, you're only making sure that your political opponents and, in my opinion, enemies of the country will exercise power when they get it. And they eventually, it's likely that they will get it. Hopefully not in the next, in the next presidential administration, but they're going to, at some point, there's going to be a Democrat elected. And hopefully there's been enough changes that the Republicans make to limit the damage that they can possibly do. But I mean, there's no promise, obviously, but.
Yeah, and you know what I love about this, though? This is what is so great about the Trump administration. President Trump listens to everyone, and public pressure, I think, works here. I know under a lot of other administrations that wasn't so the case. They didn't care what the people had to say, but President Trump, I think, when we were sitting here and pushing back, and at first he was a little dismissive over the Epstein stuff, but now all of a sudden we're seeing movement by the DOJ asking courts to free up and make public record a lot of the things that were going on during the grand jury testimonies and whatnot. I think a lot of that comes from public pressure, and so you see Pam Bondi making these moves. And that comes after MAGA, core speakers, core influencers in the MAGA movement were coming out and saying, she's got to go. If you want to earn your keepings here, you got to be a little bit tougher. And I think that's what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, I would like
That's
to
a good
see.
point.
Yeah, I would like to see, I like the fact that the administration is responsive to what essentially amounts to the MAGA movement and the influencers, but the influencers are responsive to the people that are actually, the voters, right? Like Charlie Kirk was kind of like, well, I don't really want to talk about this, but the outcry about the Epstein stuff.
He never said he didn't want to talk about it. That was made up. He's been talking about it consistently this whole time.
The full context was he said, my position on this. I want these things released. So for now, I'm done talking about it because I'm going to trust them to do the right thing, blah, blah, blah.
And he meant for that part of the show.
Yeah.
They talked about it later in the show.
Oh, okay. Well.
He just meant for right then.
Well, I mean, again, the administration is responsive to the people that have the president's ear,
Yeah.
And I think that's a good thing.
I don't know why Trump is simultaneously blasting this thing off while obstructing it.
Pardon me?
Trump is simultaneously blasting the Epstein story into the press while obstructing it.
It is weird.
Maybe to get Democrats to force their hand a little bit. I know everyone talks about the 4D chess thing, and I always roll my eyes at it because it's a little
interdimensional time travel chess at this point.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he's getting Democrats to sit out here and say that they want him to release it, which is something they weren't willing to do previously. So, I mean, maybe now you got them quoted on this and you can hold their feet to the fire a little bit, especially when it's their allies who are going to probably be listed in a lot of this.
No idea.
I
I mean,
hope.
Trump could just make a fake list.
You said that
Well,
before.
Hillary Clinton
I know, I'm saying,
Obama
man,
were looking to do that. Yeah.
They arrested Trump on fake charges they made up, and Trump is not doing anything in kind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, if you want to know why the Democrats are evil and Trump is not, is Trump is not making up fake charges to go after his enemies? How about that? It's going slow and we're unsatisfied because evil people are getting away with the evil they've done.
Yeah, and he isn't just making stuff up. Although they still make stuff up. That whole Wall Street Journal story last week.
Oh, the letter?
Yeah,
that never actually explicitly stated it was signed Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And they won't show you it. They won't show you the illustration.
And it just said his name was on it?
Well,
Did
it
you
said
guys-
his name was on it as the pubic hair of the drawing.
I found a bag of old McDonald's with Libby's name on it.
Was it hers?
It said the word Libby. I don't know if it was hers.
I think you should leak that to the Wall Street Journal.
But that's what they're doing. They're like, Donald's name was on it. Well, like, Donald's name is Donald, but a lot of people share that name. Do you mean Donald Trump was written on it? They don't say.
Yeah.
Because what they're basically telling you is they want you to assume it's Donald Trump because it said his name.
And it also, they say that basically it was using a thick black marker because nobody uses those except for Donald Trump. He's the only one that has ever used a thick black marker.
Well, it's true. Thick black marker's not even a thing you can buy.
No, you can't buy like four
From
of them in
special
a
order.
pack.
That's right.
Yeah,
Special order.
You can't do it.
Remember those metal ones?
The metal Sharpies, they had those?
No, the metal black markers.
No.
You don't remember those?
No.
Paint markers.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, those are,
The
yes.
metal
Yes.
bodies, and you have
Yes.
to.
Paint. Once you say paint markers, I remember
Yeah.
I have drawn in the wrong places with those.
Draw in the raw. Oh, really? Libby being a rebel here.
No.
admitting it on the internet.com.
Oh, I'm sure that
Nah,
the
you guys,
statute of limitations
you guys,
is long
you
past.
are all wrong. This is what I'm talking about. This one. I'm talking about this guy right here. This bad boy.
Yeah.
Oh, it
Oh,
smelled
yeah,
so
okay.
good. Remember
Yeah.
they tell you they kill your brain cells? I used to sniff those all the time.
We used to get high. I was just.
And we would connect all of them together.
Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
That was great.
I was thinking of the actual paint markers with the really thick.
King size permanent marker was made of metal.
Yeah.
Yo, I went to an antique store and everything was metal,
Yeah, metal or
glass.
or properly made, proper wood, not amalgams of various materials.
We got to go back. Let's just no more plastic and Pizza Hut classic.
Yeah,
No, when
no.
I was buying furniture for my house, I bought old stuff. I bought like a proper dresser that was made out of wood from 100-something years ago.
You know, I just want to say
lamp.
Pizza Hut is disgusting,
all
but
I
I
got.
really want to go to Pizza Hut.
Oh,
Because
I love it.
they've started rebuilding the OG ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that one. There's one in North Carolina.
Like I said, they're bringing back Happy Gilmore, Scrubs, King of the Hill, Malcolm in the Middle. They're literally just saying, guys, there's no young people to sell to anymore, so we're going to keep selling to you. The world will be made for millennials. And I'm like, I win.
You know what? What about that thing? I've read about this a fair number of times, and I don't know how pervasive it is, but there's like this alleged movement of Gen Zers who eschew their phones for the most part and just hang out analog. Is that for real?
I don't know if I believe it.
I don't know either.
I don't
Haven't
know
met
either.
them.
Maybe if you're talking about like homeless youth.
No, it's like rich kids in Brooklyn.
I don't know, but you know what I want to do this weekend? I want to go to that city in West Virginia where your phones don't work.
That sounds fun.
sure
I
we
had
do
that
that.
last year. I went on a ski trip. I went to Snowshoe. And when I was like making the reservations and figuring it out, I was talking to this lady on the phone. She was like, make sure to print out your directions because about an hour away from the mountain, your phone's going to start working. And I was like, yes, this is amazing.
Stop working?
Yeah, well, it didn't stop working, but I had no service for most of the trip. For most of
What's that city? Is
Snowshoe.
it Green Bank?
Well, I would check
It would
out.
give me
Snowshoe.
anxiety.
It's great.
Yeah,
know I'm the
Green
problem.
Bank. Green
I
Bank,
would
West
love
Virginia.
it. I would be okay with it because you know what? It's an excuse. You can say to your colleagues, you know what? I can't actually work this weekend. If you need me, sorry, because I have no service. Sometimes my Wi-Fi goes out at home, and I have very bad cell service at my house, and I'm just like, sorry guys,
They have a Western Union.
my Wi-Fi is
Remember that?
can't do any work.
Oh, man.
I remember Western Union, yeah.
A drive-in restaurant? This is the place to go, man. Cell phones don't work.
Sounds nice.
That's what we need.
You know what? All they need is a new old Pizza Hut, and it's
Oh, okay.
paradise.
I'm sold.
Right?
So-
Stuffed crust, yeah.
There's
I made stuff.
There's an original Pizza Hut.
The other night. It was good.
There's an original Pizza Hut about 40 minutes away from here.
Oh, really?
And what people don't realize is that Pizza Hut's begun to remodel their Pizza Huts, and it's all Jack Posobiec's fault. And this is not.
I remember that. I loved
This
that.
is not a joke.
I wrote a whole
20
story about that.
25 locations have been remodeled to the original Pizza Huts with indoor seating and salad bars, and it is because of Jack Posobiec. Did you write that it was because of Jack Posobiec?
No, I wrote when he started doing his whole Pizza Hut thing. I did like a whole kind of elaborate story about it.
Posobiec Services, country never ends.
Indeed.
I'm a big fan of this. Bring it back because those were the happier times. I remember getting like when he had and I had very few of these, but when you had a really good like spelling test score on your spelling test at school, you get a coupon for a free personal pan.
Oh, dang, that's a good deal.
I know, and that's when my parents would take us. They never would take us otherwise.
This is all that matters. OG Pizza Hut. Mm-hmm. Now, their food's disgusting. Their wings are really good, but their pizza is like really low quality garbage.
I disagree. I still like Pizza Hut.
It is full of chemicals and nasty garbage that is very, very bad.
Yes, that's why I don't
low quality
like it
garbage.
very much.
Gotta drink a
Things are
little
just
before I
like
have
that.
it.
Still
Papa
better
John's
than the
is real.
it's
Oh,
better
Papa
than
John's.
the
Oh, really?
Awful.
Chuck E. Cheese,
Papa John's is actual real ingredients.
Is
which I
it?
heard was recycled.
I know it's the ads, but
No, it actually is. I take this very seriously. Pizza Hut puts Splenda in their crust.
Oh, good lord.
Artificial sweeteners in their crust.
Good.
And then Domino's isn't that bad, but they've got all the weird preservatives and stuff.
Yeah.
Papa John's ingredients for their dough is, I think it's like unbleached wheat flour, water, yeast, and soybean oil.
Okay.
That's it. Little Caesar is also really good. Ingredients, bare minimum.
Really?
And I think the issue is they sell so rapidly that they're not super concerned with food spoiling.
What do you put in your pizza dough?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't eat pizza dough.
You don't make pizza. Oh, that's right. You don't do any of the good stuff.
Gluten-y, carby.
Right. I forgot.
No, my pizza dough is made of cauliflower and whey protein.
Yeah, that sounds awful.
Or Lou Malnati's sausage crust. You know what this is?
What? It's a sausage crust?
Lou Malnati's sells a piece of sausage this big with sauce and cheese on it that you bake.
No.
The whole pizza itself is made of meat. That's man pizza.
That sounds amazing, especially if you then top it with pepperoni and sausage and
and more sausage.
Yeah.
The whole thing is sausage.
just
Hey,
the
where do
whole
you
thing.
get that?
Talk about meat lovers.
You order it online.
Online.
I don't know if they sell them at
Not
the Lou
your
Malnati
average deep
stores,
dish.
but you can. Did you look it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can order them right now. We ordered a whole bunch of them. They have like a gluten-free crust, a regular crust, and then a sausage meat crust for the keto people. No, Blaze Pizza has a keto crust as well. It's a protein crust. Pretty good. Blaze is awesome. Have you guys ever eaten at Blaze?
Yeah, they are good. I like
It's like Chipotle for pizza.
It's amazing.
You walk up, you get in line, and you're like, I want the the thick dough. I want, pesto sauce with mozzarella, and they put it all on, and then they throw it into a brick oven right in front of you, and then you watch it for a few minutes, and they pull it out, and bang, you got a fresh hot pizza.
I remember, so I'm one of 7, so I have a lot of siblings. My parents would have to go get pizza all the time when affordable pizza. It was like $5 for a pie. It's so crazy. I go to a store now, it's like $22 for a pie of pizza. What the heck's going on with this country?
I'm getting hungry now.
I'm starving.
I could use some pizza, honestly.
want a Pizza Hut
I
after
love
this?
a pizza.
I'm dying.
It's all closed?
Yeah. At 12.
At 12? So you're saying we can't order pizza right now?
So now, yeah, right now.
Uh-huh. God. We got a place nearby called Pizza Oven.
Uh-huh.
It's the best.
Yeah.
It's the best. It's like a local spot, but they've got pizza where the crust is like that thick.
Oh,
love
that's
those.
nice.
Big, thick, rising crusts, and then you just drench it with sass. Amazing.
Sass.
Pizza Oven. Sass.
This is your this is the Chicago coming out.
No one in Chicago says sass.
Really? Why do you say it?
It's a joke.
Oh, okay.
It would be like, if I talk like this, because I'm getting hummus.
Yeah, but people do talk like that.
I know. Yeah.
Specifically, Serge.
Yeah.
Especially.
All right.
Before the show starts, that's exactly how Serge.
Yeah, Serge's accent that you hear on the show is actually fake. He fights it.
Yeah.
Really?
Actually, before the show, he talks like this for everything. Yeah, and he's always answering questions with other questions.
You think I'm lying, or you think we're lying? It's totally true. That's why he's laughing like that. He knows it. He's like, you guys are blowing me up.
All right, we're going to go to your chat. Smash the like button. Share the show. If you like the show, tell your friends. Say, hey, guys, I got a really good show. Let's watch it. Timcast IRL. And make sure you get ready. That uncensored call-in show is coming up at rumble.com/TimcastIRL. Members only. And if you sign up for Rumble Premium, you will get, with using promo code TIM10, $10 off your yearly membership. And we just released our feature-length documentary by 6'7" Kevin, Sin Frontera, the end of illegal immigration. If you know people who don't believe this stuff, who think Trump is making it up or that you're making it up, this is what you do. You get your Rumble Premium. You show them Sin Frontera. Go to rumble.com/TimPools. If you're a premium member, hour and 46 minutes long. And 6'7" Kevin actually went to the Darien Gap. He tracked human traffickers and he documented child trafficking. And you can see just how brutal and evil this stuff really is. And so that is available now, and I recommend you watch it. In the meantime, we will read your chats and rants. All right, we got Thinker for Life who says, sound is low, Serge. Well, that was the beginning of the show. I'm sure he fixed it. J Dirt Biker says, the godfather of metal passed away on my 30th birthday. Insert meme of Bobby Hill sad with devil horns here. Rip Ozzy, rock in paradise. It is insane, the search volume on Ozzy Osbourne. Yeah. I think Google Trends had him at like 10 million. Currently, right now, Ozzy Osbourne trend, 10 million plus. The second biggest trend, what do you guys think it is?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Any guesses on what a big trending story right now would be?
Donald Trump?
No.
No.
I have no idea.
Mega Dragonite with 100,000 searches.
I don't even know what that is.
Neither.
Pokemon.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. The top trend is Ozzy Osbourne with 10 million plus. The second biggest trend is Mega Dragonite with 100,000. That's how impactful Ozzy was.
That's wild.
Crazy. Rothflow says, Trump's growing some balls. Let's hope he'll actually be able to execute on getting Obama prosecuted in an unbiased federal court. Indeed. I don't know why Trump isn't rallying state-level attorneys general to aid him in these efforts the way Democrats did. Yeah. That's another thing that's really irksome to me. Ken Paxton, he's doing his thing. It's very easy right now for Trump to say there's moves we can't make, but you have the entire chessboard. It's not just one king on the board. You've literally got every state, and they do nothing.
Yeah. Garrett Siegler actually put together a list of AGs on the state level who go after Hunter Biden after he was issued the presidential pardon, and and he's personally reached out to these offices to let them know where they could go and criminally charge Hunter, and they did not do anything. Those are our Republicans. Yeah.
All right. Bill Dozer says the DNI under Trump's first admin had this info. Why is he head of the CIA now? It's all one big game, I guess. It's hard to believe, isn't it? True Bin is. Social wins are bigger for a cohesive population than policy, but would like both. It's what I voted for. Time is right again. All right. St. Miles says Mary Morgan is the oracle of Timcast. Because she thinks nothing ever happens.
Yeah, look, it's easy to be the oracle it's easy to be right when you're permanently answering with the same answer. Right? Like perma bears are permanently bears, and they're right when bear things happen. Perma bulls are right when bull things happen. But it's always, if you always give the same answer, you're going to be right.
Pike County Zombie Control says the Trump admin will postpone arresting high-profile individuals until December or January. That way, he'll be too cold for their zombie hordes to go out and riot. Good point, actually. Additionally, right before Christmas is a really great time because everyone leaves the news cycle. So if the best time for the arrests, I would imagine, would be the week of Thanksgiving or the week of Christmas. Because everyone's on vacation, and even though they may hear it happened, nobody is going to leave their Christmas to go and write up a story and generate a bunch of anger to get protests or riots. And it'll seriously impede their ability to file any legal challenges as well. So maybe there will be a Christmas present.
Fingers crossed.
What if Trump dressed up like Santa and then made a video where he gets out of the beast with a bunch of FBI agents from other vehicles, and they run to Obama's house, and he's like, "Merry Christmas, everybody!" And then you see Trump, Obama being like, "Get out of here!" And he's getting arrested.
I'd love it.
Can someone make an AI video of that?
I was gonna say it probably is already being made right now.
Yeah. Over the Road USA says, Tim, please help us in Minnesota. Our new mayoral candidate, Omar Fateh, is worse than the New York candidate. He says the biggest threat to America is white people.
Yeah, I mean...
Well, good luck.
That's what the left says, though. But this is nothing new, and it's not unique to Omar. This is just the way that the left has been, portraying white people forever. And it's a big part of the reason why, the Democrats have such a problem with young white men. This is the narrative they've been running for 15, 20 years now, and men have essentially exodus from the Democrat Party, and they're going to feel it.
Title. Oh, go ahead.
No. What's the rebuttal though on the right when it comes to this stuff? Because nobody's really talking back to these voters. I mean, the reality is the massive amount of people in that district, I believe, are Somalian refugees, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. And why they flee Somalia to come here? And again, if we are the biggest threat, you could have stayed in your country.
They fled Somalia to come here because of benefits
to destroy us.
Well, I mean, I don't think that that's their actual intent when they're over there. I think when they get here, they're like, oh yeah, this is actually going to be beneficial for me if they ruin the country.
They just made it Somalia.
What was that?
They just made it Somalia.
Yeah, they did.
I just want to just point out. I remember when Trump. I remember where I was when they tried to kill Trump. When Trump dodged the bullet. I was at Potawatomi Bingo Casino as we were gearing up for the RNC shows, and we had just arrived, checked in, and said, let's go play some poker. And so I was at a poker table, and here's the secret, right? Of course, y'all know that I like playing Texas Hold'em, but a lot of politicians go to the poker rooms, and so it's a great place to find people. And sure enough, I was at a table with a couple of Republican politicians, state level, and or one guy in particular. Other guys had worked with lawyers and stuff. When my phone's blowing up and I look and I see the video, by the time I got notified because of how serious this was, no one knew if Trump survived. All they knew was that the live stream went out and Trump went down. And so my phone's blowing up. I pick it up, I go on X, and I'm watching clips, and it's before anyone had posted videos of Trump getting back up. Yeah. As soon as the shots rang out, news articles were writing, Trump falls after loud noises. Mm. I looked around. Once it was confirmed it was an assassination attempt and Trump was bleeding. and those were gunshots, and people had been shot, no one in the casino flinched. No TV changed. No announcements were made. And I was thinking, like, am I wrong to assume that in the past, if something like this would have happened, they would have made an announcement like, ladies and gentlemen, you know, an attempt has just been made on Donald Trump's life?
Do you think they would have said something if, you know, the worst had happened?
No. And that's the point, that the casino didn't care to inform the people because they don't think it mattered to them. And so I went to a restaurant, like we were hanging out, we were like, we're going to get dinner. And I was asking, you know, I like, so the host is there and like table for two. I was like, hey, did you hear that someone just tried to assassinate Trump? And they went, no. And I'm like, this is insane to me.
Yeah.
And so I bring this up because the title of this video is Trump just accused Obama of treason, calls for criminal charges. And people care more about Ozzy Osbourne. Now, with all due respect to Ozzy Osbourne, I do understand. My point is, you'd think that if a sitting president accused his predecessor of committing treason against the United States and call on national television to the press saying the former President Obama has committed treason against this country and should be prosecuted and jailed, that is an insane historical precedent that no one cares about.
Yeah, and it is interesting too, because in presidencies past, presidents didn't speak out about past presidents, you know, negatively, and past presidents didn't tend to weigh in. George Bush did not really weigh in on Obama, and when he was asked about what do you think of Obama's this and that, he said, you know, it's not my job to weigh in on the current president. And that was sort of the standard. People didn't do that. Even even Gerald Ford pardoned Nixon. He was just like, we're going to move past this now. We're not going to dwell on this.
You know what Trump should do? When they start gearing up for primary season, they should copy Crossfire Hurricane verbatim in every way. Take the documents from the Obama administration, copy them one for one, and apply them to the Democrat who's running. And then if ever they're like, look what Trump is doing, they'll be like, hey, nothing's wrong with what we're doing. It's identical to what they did, right? In every single way. There you go. No one can complain, right? Democrats all agree it's legal. And
no, they definitely can complain.
Sure. Yeah.
They definitely will complain. It doesn't matter what, it doesn't matter what the right does. If the right does it, it's bad. And if the left does it, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
I identify as tax exempt says the no tax on overtime in the must pass bill sucks. It caps at $12,000 and your base is still taxed even in overtime hours. The only thing not taxed is the half pay added to your base pay. Wow.
That is bogus. The entire overtime pay should be tax-free, and it should be tax-free no matter what. How much you make of that a year. That's bogus.
That is
That's
very
what they
bogus.
promised too, so
that's trash.
Just don't report. No, I don't. I can't say that.
Get paid in cash. It should be illegal to refuse to pay someone in cash.
Shergall says silent generation is currently at 23 million, boomers 66.9, Gen X 65.6, Gen Y, aka millennial, 72, Gen Z 68, and Gen Alpha 38.5. Now you got to understand that the reason why Gen X, boomer, and silent are lower is because they're dying. And
I lost like 5 friends just in my 20s alone.
Right. So the younger generation is usually much bigger because young people are alive. People were having 2 to 3 kids, and the kids were living. And then once you get into your 40s is when mortality starts to increase. You'll see more and more of it. Then your 50s, 60s, 70s, obviously it goes up. It's the mortality cliff, they call it. Around 70, everyone around you starts dying rapidly. For obvious reasons. It's life expectancy. Yep. Aussie Brad says the exact thing has happened in Australia. Average home in Sydney is 1.2 million. The younger generation can't buy or rent because of foreign investors and high immigration.
Yeah, wow. I don't understand how, like, the politicians and the people that are in positions of authority don't see this as a problem.
Well, some of them do see it as a problem, and they don't get elected. Like Pierre Poilievre in Canada was running basically on a platform of Trudeau sucks, and we need our young people to be able to afford homes. And they voted
and there's not enough young people to outvote the old people.
And they voted for Mark Carney anyway.
So you just have to wait for the old people to kick off, I guess.
Well, and that doesn't help. Sorry, it doesn't help because Republicans are constantly, like in Florida, for example, they just allow, and I was screaming about this during the pandemic because they just allowed rent prices to skyrocket without any type of control, or because like normally, I think in New York, it's a couple of percentage points is how much you could rise.
Yeah, there's a tenant landlord board.
Rent controls don't work though. You should actually, what the solution is to make sure that it's easier to build. Because rent controls only drive up the prices. Your landlords don't do improvements. They don't fix things. You end up with all kinds of bad results when you try rent controls.
Definitely bad results.
Rent controls have been tried multiple times in a bunch of different societies and different countries, and it just never works.
Well, what's interesting in New York is there's rent stabilization, and landlords can apply to be part of the rent stabilization program, but you don't have to. But then what was interesting is this is totally in the weeds, but I'm just going to go for it. So Michael Bloomberg had this program, 80-20 housing, where it's 80% market rate and 20% like affordable housing. And it has to be in the same building, but your amenities end up being different. And then Bill de Blasio came in and said, you can do 80-20, but it just has to be in the same zip code.
Oh, God. Bill de Blasio was a terrible...
really bad guy. Yeah.
Terrible mayor, so...
Yeah.
All right, we got Libby saying, rip Ozzy Osbourne, another metal legend gone, but he will live on in memory. You know why this matters so much is that Ozzy is of a time when culture was unified.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
So the story I've told recently, go to a bar and put Bohemian Rhapsody on the jukebox and see what happens.
Everyone knows the stupid words.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody sings, and then put on a modern song and what happens? Everybody breaks apart and goes off in the corners again.
Like that Pink Pony thing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Terrible. It's
what do you think is the most popular song Ozzy ever made?
Mama, I'm Coming Home or Crazy Train?
Yeah, Crazy Train.
Go with
Mama, I'm Coming Home. Yeah, Crazy Train.
Crazy Train's huge.
I wonder if you played Crazy Train in a bar, people would sing along.
I don't know it.
You don't know Crazy Train?
I probably know it if you play it.
You absolutely know Crazy Train.
It's like that thing you were talking about with TV episodes. The only TV episode names I know are from Friends, and that's because they're only all called The One Where.
That's how I feel about movies.
Oh yeah.
Crazy Train is his most.
Of course.
Crazy Train is his most streamed song.
Yeah.
There's a collab with Post Malone and Travis Scott called "Take What You Want," released in 2019. That is that has more streams than Crazy Train, but the most streamed Ozzy song is Crazy Train.
I didn't know it had a name.
What?
I didn't know it had a name.
Oh, really?
Train, you didn't know. Start reading the list. His last performance was so great, though. I know a lot of people were very critical, but
the worst thing about the reaction online, all the leftists, all the garbage effing commies are hating on Ozzy because he was a Zionist. I can't stand communists. I cannot stand communists. They're the worst.
yeah.
They're all complaining, oh, he was a Zionist. Well, you know what? Shut your face.
Dreamer is his biggest video on YouTube, followed by Mama, I'm Coming Home, then No More Tears, then Mr. Crowley, then Crazy Train.
Wow.
Wow. Dreamer.
I'm not even familiar with that song.
Yeah, man. You know, we were much better off as a country when we had a shared culture.
It's true.
I
Very
think
true.
that's right. But we also had the mechanisms to have a shared culture, and now we have the mechanisms to be divided.
Trump should mandate by executive order a sitcom starring him because everybody already loved watching him and we all know it. And then by law, force Americans to tune in. He can use the presidential alert system so that every phone starts playing the
Automatically,
That
yeah.
won't
Automatically.
be like Ray Bradbury's Nightmare at all.
No. This is as much as, it seems odd, but this is exactly why I am for making sure that we have the English as the national language, like actually enshrined in law, and then stop producing government materials in any other language aside from English. Stop doing it. If you're obviously, I'm well, not obviously, but I'm not really for preventing private companies and stuff from producing things in other languages, but we should do everything we can to make sure that everybody speaks English. Schools shouldn't teach in other languages. You should learn English. And the reason is because we need a unified country. It's a part of assimilation, and also like when you think in a certain language, there are certain concepts that only make sense in a certain language. So everyone in America should at least be able to speak English fluently.
You know what was interesting is my son did his confirmation study this year, and he was confirmed in our church. And I was at a parents' meeting where one of the parents who spoke Spanish asked the deacon if they could do the catechism lessons in Spanish. And the deacon was like, no, we teach these lessons in English. And she said, well, you know, she learns most of her faith in Spanish. And the deacon was like, well, now she's going to learn it in English.
Catholic Church English or Latin, that's it.
He was like, we are together. This is one parish. We're not dividing it up.
Sue Enrod says, rip Ozzy. Every time a musician dies, Keith Richards experiences the quickening.
Yeah, Keith Richards is actually 73 years younger today.
We need to reference this.
If you don't know what the quickening is, you need to watch Highlander.
The quickening. Here we go. This is important context for everybody who's not from this time. The quickening.
Ruh-roh. There can be only one.
There can be only one.
Great reference. What a good movie, too.
Here we go. It takes a long time to get to it, right?
It does, yeah.
Let's go back to when movies were like this.
I'm down with that.
What'd you say? Yeah.
The quickening.
It's also real.
Very good. I'm behind.
I know everything.
I love this part. It's my favorite part.
Doesn't get better than 80s sci-fi.
Yeah, I think I watched this in high school forever ago.
And there you go. Now everybody who's never seen a Highlander knows what the quickening is.
Yep.
Good reference. All right. Buck says, my best friend died yesterday morning. Christian father, patriot, chicken wrangler, and a fan. If anyone would like to help his family, GoFundMe handled by his church. Help Nathan Bobek's family through cancer battle. Sad to hear it, man. Sad to hear it. Wish you guys the best. Hope it works out.
Yeah, that's
You
terrible.
guys can raise some money. Worthless says, Secret Service guarded Mar-a-Lago. FBI had shoot to kill to use against loyal Secret Service agents who were later culled from the service. Why they were so easily able to set him up for assassination.
The documents that were dumped that alleged that also had on three different pages had that the FBI did communicate with Secret Service prior to getting onto Mar-a-Lago, getting onto the property.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of communication back and forth between both agencies.
It's just the idea that with that communication, you don't need anyone to bring weapons.
Yeah.
You literally just be like, hey, we're coming on by and got a warrant or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Rodney says, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Obama and his sycophants must be brought to justice or the bad guys win. Yes.
You know?
Yeah. You're not going to find any argument with us.
Raymond G. Stanley Jr. says, I spend the day outside putting up trail cams in our beautiful West Virginia woods, then come home to get angry over this BS of weak Republicans and terrible Dems. You know, Just take it day by day. You know what I mean? What did Muhammad Ali say? Don't count the days, make the days count.
There you go.
Yeah, you got to get out there every day and do what you can. Don't let the day pass you by. We got up super early a couple weeks ago. We went to Top Golf the moment they opened, and it was totally worth it. One of the most frustrating things ever is just how lazy everyone everywhere is, always. Mm-hmm. Because they're always like, I'll be there at 1. And I'm like, no. I wake up at 7 a.m., okay? I'm getting up at 7 a.m. As soon as light is shining through, I awake. And I could sleep I go to bed at 5 a.m., I'm waking up at 7. Everybody else is like, I'm sleeping in. And I'm like, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah, I'm up at 4 a.m. every single day. And
4?
Yeah, because I do an audio-only news update, but I don't know how people sleep in. I don't know what that term even means. Today was my sleep-in day, and I was still up at 5.
Yeah.
I never have that. I don't have that problem.
Sleeping in?
No, I wake up at like 6:30 or 7, but if I know I don't have to, like usually I'm up around 6:30 or so, but if I know I don't have to, I'm perfectly comfortable sleeping until 9:30 or 10. No issues.
On the days that we actually get people rallied up early in the morning, it feels like 3 weekends in one. Like we went to Top Golf, then we went to Barcelona and Reston, one of the best restaurants ever. I recommend it. Mm-hmm. It's tapas. It's insanely
delicious.
They just dump olive oil all over the table. It's amazing. And then we went bowling in the arcade at the mall, and then we went and got coffees, and then went to the casino, and it was just like, man, it was like 3 weekends in one when you get up early.
Yeah.
But normally everybody's like, I'm not getting up till late, so I just play Zelda or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get so much. And the older I get, the more I turn into my parents. My parents would always be like the first one at the supermarket when it opens. And they're like, oh, there's no lines. This is incredible. And now I'm like right there waiting in the Costco parking lot for them to open the door.
You know what's
right
fun
up
is
front.
being the last person in the grocery store.
Then
and everyone's looking at you like, why are you still here? Just leave. That's fun too.
Just leave.
Just leave. Just take it.
Druid Arrow says, I agree illegal immigrants should not be able to vote. However, our Constitution states that they are counted as 3/5. Read the 3/5 clause.
No, that is not the case, my friend. That is not the case.
That was Mark Elias.
I can't figure out if that's a serious thing or not, if they're serious or not. But you're wrong. Jeez, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Where is it? I'm trying to find the actual writing of the 3/5 compromise.
The 3/5 compromise was the North saying you can only allow your enslaved persons to count for 3/5 of a person. Otherwise, you will have too much representation. It will be outsized compared to what your citizenry actually is. So the North was arguing that people who were enslaved in the South should not count toward the House of Representatives. And the South was saying they should count fully. So the 3/5 was a compromise made so that the South got a little and the North got a little. But basically, the North was saying that the enslaved people should not count at all.
Enslaved people that can't vote.
Let's see.
Just like, yeah. Which
So Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among several states which may be included within this union according to their respective numbers, which shall be determined by adding to the whole number of free persons, including those bound to service for a term of years and excluding Indians not taxed, 3/5 of all other persons. They're correct.
Yeah.
The 3/5 clause includes illegal immigrants.
Oh, did it, including illegal immigrants? Because people who are taxed. People who are taxed.
No, it says all other persons.
Right, all other persons. And it includes Indians because Indians were not taxed.
Wow. Representatives and direct taxes shall be apportioned among the several states. Interesting. So shouldn't the census have the citizenship question for the purpose of the Constitution stating illegal immigrants should only count 3/5? That's insane.
It absolutely should. It should only be citizens. It shouldn't be just people that are in the country.
Right.
You know, the idea that, oh, there are people there that so they count towards representation. Well, they're not voting. And
right.
and they're not, if they're not American citizens, they're not technically under the jurisdiction of the United States. So
But they are being taxed.
Wow, it's in the Constitution.
But also, at that time, was there an issue of illegal immigration? Was this a thing?
Nope.
no.
So
Because you couldn't vote unless you owned property.
right. So you couldn't vote unless you owned property. But if they weren't struggling with illegal immigration at the time, I think this would be a new question for the Supreme Court.
The North wanted to exclude slaves, and the South wanted to include slaves.
Right, exactly.
Since slaves had no voting rights, a compromise was struck to resolve the impasse. 3/5 of each state's slave population toward that state's total population for the purpose of apportioning House of Representatives, effectively giving the southern states more power in the House relative to the northern states. It also gave slaveholders similarly enlarged powers in southern legislatures. It was an issue in the secession of West Virginia. In the Constitution, the 3/5 compromise is part of Article 1, Section 2, Clause 3, which states all other persons will count towards 3/5. So that is correct. It does count illegal immigrants. Wow. There you go. So, because I was saying that the Democrats would basically try and pull a 3/5 compromise with illegal immigrants. I was wrong. They don't need to. It's already in the Constitution.
Yep.
And that's the funny thing about the Constitution. How many conservatives are going to be like, wait a minute, what? That's right. Illegal immigrants count 3/5. So the only real issue at play right now is that they're counting them for one whole person towards apportionment instead of 3/5. Maybe Trump could do that and strip them of at least 2/5 of their power.
Well, I think that would definitely end up at the Supreme Court. But what would be interesting, too, was you would suddenly have the left saying Donald Trump thinks illegal immigrants are, akin to people who are enslaved. Meanwhile, the Democrats would be the ones treating illegal immigrants like they are slaves.
All right, my friends, we're going to go to that uncensored portion of the show at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. So pick up your Cast Brew coffee at castbrew.com. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Breanna, do you want to shout anything out?
Give me a follow, obviously, on X. Also, free newsletter I do for my exclusive stories. It's called the independentnewsroom.com. You can sign up today, independentnewsroom.com.
I would like to shout out thepostmillennial.com and humanevents.com and also my newsletter, which you can subscribe to along with Breanna's. You can sign up at thepostmillennial.com/Libby, and you can find me on Twitter at Libby Emmons.
I am Phil That Remains on Twix. You can follow the band All That Remains on Instagram, on YouTube, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Pandora, Spotify, and Deezer. Don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all in about 30 seconds over at rumble.com/Timcast IRL. Don't miss the show. We'll see y'all there.